Hey everybody, how are we doing? Let me readjust the screen a little bit here. So we got the screen a little bit off. Oh, wait. Oh no, it's so there. Ah. Why is it doing that? Let me change the size. How is everyone doing this morning? Can everyone hear? Yes, morning stat nation. Thank you, Jared. Remember, if you're here, if you're talking right now, how is everyone doing? Can everyone hear and see me? I'm always afraid to start. How is everybody doing this morning? I don't see any responses yet. Is no one here? Hey, Ethan. How is everybody doing this morning? Can everybody hear and see me? Oh, this is where I get a little bit afraid. Let me look to see if we're streaming everything all right now. Are we streaming? Good morning. Can everyone hear and see me? Can everybody hear and see me? Let's see. Can you hear and see me? Did I make a mistake on it? Let's see. No, okay, wait. What is going on? Am I not streaming on the right? One moment. We are probably going to have double audio for some reason. Let me see. Oh, that's my... How's everybody doing right now? Wait, where's me? Oh. Can you not see me now? I should be invisible. Am I invisible? Okay, I'm back now. I heard an echo, and it was my computer out in the main lobby. I don't have a lobby. Out in my main room. I am back now. Sorry about that. I don't know what those tech issues were. I just kind of restarted the stream, and I was helping out with another class. I had the honor of talking to, and why are these slides? They must be a different dimension. Really? That's such a bummer. Because I can't get them to fit so nicely inside of here. I don't like that. What if I do this right here? I had the pleasure of speaking to some PhD and masters. Gotta go to the lobby. Thank you guys so much. We will go till noon like we normally do, and we'll of course do office hours afterwards. But I only ask that you stay till noon. So I got the pleasure of speaking to PhD and master's candidates, and for some reason, it might be because I was using Zoom or something, but usually what I do, I went right up until like 9:55 with them. I was like, I can get everything going really quickly. So I was loading up the slides. I was getting everything going. I was getting everything organized on the screens. It's just killing me that that's cut off or just a little bit off the screen. We'll go to the next slide. So that works. But I'm glad everything is working now. Sorry about that. This is the building. I saw some Stats Nations earlier. I knew something was wrong because I was talking about, I was like, how's everyone doing today? Which might still be in the start of the stream, but I just restarted the streaming software and everything worked. And hopefully Streamlabs is working. Yes, Streamlabs. And I turned on Streamlabs. Maybe that was it. But whatever happened, everything is working. And I just want to say this. Thank you for watching live. Thank you for being here. I'm hoping we have our usual 60 or so people. Am I muted? Can everyone hear me? Can everybody hear me? How are we doing? You can't hear me. What did I do to my audio? Oh, you can hear me. Woo! Okay, good. You know, we have one tech issue, then I'm like, oh no, what if like I've been talking this whole time and no one can hear me? So I'm like, you know, my heart's gonna jump out of my chest right here, guys. Everything. He's scaring Brian. You guys, if it was April Fool's, you guys could just mess with me completely. So what have we learned in our first 6-7 minutes? Tech is fun. Tech is fun. But I'm glad Streamlabs is working. I booted that up while we were talking right here. Everyone can hear and see me. I like that. And so once I want to say a very huge thank you. And we will do this at the end of class again. So obviously we're going to go up until noon. We got an easier lecture here, and then we're going to have a more difficult one. This lecture right here that you're going to see, pivot tables and pivot charts, pretty easy stuff. So just take a big deep breath right now and be like, okay, we're calming it down a little bit. Stats Nation, let's go. You got it, Keaton. I'm going to make this weekend I might make some fun stuff with this whole Stat Nation stuff. You know, we got Mega Man yesterday. It's not Mega Mondays anymore, but sorry about that. That was created this weekend, but we're going to have some new stuff, and I'm wearing some Dig Dug today. So I think Isaac knows about some pivot tables and pivot charts, but this is a little bit easier of a topic. But I want to say something, and I want to say why I'm so proud of everyone. Last night's grades on Chapter 5 were some of the highest I've ever seen in teaching all of statistics, as long as I've been teaching statistics. 10-point Tuesdays? Gracie, I like that. 10-point Tuesdays, you can get up to 20 points. You can get 10-point Tuesdays, and you can get it twice. So we're going to give 10 points on Tuesdays. Gracie made that up right here. We're doing it. So Gracie, you automatically got 10 points right there. You guys, I like it when you guys come up with these ideas. Gracie's get 10 points for her 10-point Tuesday idea right there. Now remember, you can get 20 points on 10-point Tuesdays. So you can get 10 points on 20-point Tuesdays. So on 20-point Tuesdays, we make it up as we go. We're keeping the points. Sometimes I go crazy with the points, but we know the point system. We like it. Great idea, Gracie. I want you guys to tell me your ideas. That's what makes this class just fresh right there. We just keep it going. So, but I'm gonna stay on topic for a moment. Go Vols. One of the biggest things, Jared, come on, you know what those Pokemon reference. I'm gonna say something. Prepare for trouble and make it double to protect the world from devastation. I don't know the rest of it. I lost my mind. Okay. That's what we're gonna do. Hey Ben, great question, Ben. Ben gets 10 points for keeping me on track. So, we're not going to do that. Okay. Serious, Brian. Okay. I'm really proud of everybody because Chapter 5 grades last night were some of the highest I've ever seen. Not some of the highest. I dare say that Chapter 5 last night was the highest. The average for the class was like a 91. And that's and it's all right if you missed it. I think there were a few people who missed it and got a 0. So when you think about average, the zeros are going to pull us down. But I want you to remember that for tonight. And you guys are smart. You guys are all so very smart. I want you to remember that Brian's going to be doing the work once again. He's going to be going through the problems. Now, once again, this does make it a little bit easier to do it. There's a little bit less of a struggle. So I wanted you to utilize what I'm doing in the most positive way of like, I'm going to look at what Brian's doing. I'm going to try to figure it out. I'm going to see how it relates to my problem. I'm probably going to do the problems you're working on, but then I want you to take the time at home to go through, I'm glad that helps right there, Christina. And the video yesterday does not have the timestamps because I got back to Knoxville I got back pretty late last night. So I didn't have time to put in the timestamps. So I'm going to go back and try to do that today. And I mainly focused on when I got back doing emails. So I mainly focused on the emails last night, which was like, I want you guys to have all the emails. And so it's very sorry. You guys know I'm usually quicker on emails than if you emailed me at like 10, I emailed you back at like 9 at night. So, yeah, so I wanted to make sure all your emails were answered. And I told you guys that during lecture that I was traveling to Kingsport. It went well. No, that's fine, Jared. You can ask me that. I told you guys about it yesterday. If you're like, hey, Brian, I heard you were at the oral surgeon in Kingsport. Like, if you someone saw you there. No, but I told you guys, so don't worry. That's a fine question to ask. Went well. and I'm able to eat solid foods again. Yay! So I'm very happy about that. So great stuff right there. Well, thank you very much, Claire. I appreciate that. Jared, you get 10 points. You get 10 points for asking me that. I don't mind. If I tell you guys how it goes, then you guys get to ask that question. So Brian is doing fine. They said my mouth, where they had to cut out part of my gums, is healing up just fine. I might be able to eat pizza. I guess I was like Tooth Nation, Gum Nation. It's like try to have good oral hygiene nation. And they said they're like, yeah, what happened to you just happens. They're like, can be the hormonal imbalances, brushing your gums a little too hard, and you can get the issue I had. It's crazy. So man, Cookout. When I start eating out again, Cookout's gonna be awesome. Whew, we've had our 10 minutes of fun. We had a stream that was broken. We found out Brian's doing all right. Some people, we created 10-point Tuesdays. You guys will have to remind me what days it is. I've got 5 buttons on here. So I need to put the buttons, my things underneath that, so you can barely see it. But I should put, these things have gone up way up in price. I got mine for like $70. Now it's like $130. Cookout is the reason I moved here. If I lived next to Cookout, that'd be bad. A Cookout, what do you guys think? What's your favorite item at Cookout? Okay, if someone says an item that's my favorite item, you get 10 points. What's your favorite item at Cookout? I've got a few. I've got like maybe, if I could get 2 things right now. Oh man, you guys are picking so many good things. I think I got to go with Sam right there, Samantha. Mint shake. That I've definitely gotten the mint shake. I gotta go first person who said quesadilla, because that's my favorite person. That's their favorite. The quesadilla is Bridget right there, gets 10 points. Oh man, Sarah, I gotta try that cheer wine float. Okay, so Sarah gets 10 points. Anyone else? Anyone? Nicole, I'm giving you 10 points for Cookout sauce because I don't know what that tastes like, but I'm gonna put that on my cheeseburger with queso. Oh my gosh. Okay, Erica has maxed out on 10-point Tuesdays at 20 points because I am now ordering a cheeseburger with queso the next time I go to Cookout. Whenever that might be, I am ordering that cheeseburger with queso. I've never had it, but that sounds like the number one thing. Okay, Keaton gets 10 points because actually the cheddar style burger is my favorite right now. A big double, like 2 patties, cheddar style, because that's got the bacon on it too. If I am correct, that's bacon and cheddar. So Keaton gets 10 points because that is one of my favorite items. You could have also gotten points for a cheesecake milkshake. That was worth 10 points. Did anyone say the fries? Because man, those fries, they are crispy, they are good. My brother just saw you on my computer and he said, oh, he's still We'll tell your brother I say, hey, Gracie's brother. What's happening? I like hearing from Forest students. I haven't been to Cook in a while. I need to hit that up straight up. It's awesome. You said fries, Kelly. You get the 10 points right there. Also, Kelly, thank you for those fries right there. So was it? You were right. You were the first person to say fries. Oh, and then Laura said it too. Laura was very specific, so Laura gets the points too. Sorry, I was reading through everything and just getting hungry right there. Okay, we've had our 15 minutes of fun. We know what's going on with the world today. So I want to reiterate, what should you learn from this conversation? 1, Cookout is awesome. But 2, and so find, if you're a vegetarian or something, I guess the fries might be all right, or milkshakes, if as long as you're not vegan. Milkshakes are awesome at Cookout. So as long as you're not vegan, milkshakes are great. Which vegan, that's all right. I don't know. Tell me where to eat, tomato it. Tomato is great. So another, I am definitely hungry. You guys can tell. But the number 2 thing you should learn, maybe number 1, is please keep your kind of structure. If you do, like, whatever you did yesterday, it worked. Whatever happened yesterday was really good. So make that happen again today. If you stayed to when I was doing the assignments and you worked them with me, that worked. If you, after class, watch the videos, and they do take a little bit of time to post, so watch out. You might not get to see what I do in the last 2 hours of class because for some reason YouTube records the first 2 hours and then it waits to post the last 2. So do realize that, and I hope it never takes too long, but I don't want you to be like, okay, I'm just going to watch this an hour later. It's just one of those weird things. And I'm glad, Sarah, that helps out a lot. And so we're going to keep to that. Doing it during class. So I'm going to try to do more during class, during our structured class time. Maybe we'll try to use the last 30 minutes. So maybe would you guys like that? Maybe I'll try to keep for the last 30 minutes of using class time for that. I'll try my best. So yeah, so I'll try. So come with questions. I'll remember that, and I will remember this, that a lot of you, not a lot, I mean, I don't know how many, have obligations that mean you can't stay from 12 to 2. So I do realize that you might be like, Brian, I have work, I have school, I have kids, I have a busy life. So maybe I can't stay from 12 to 2. So I'll try to utilize your time from maybe 11:30 to noon. We're getting a lot of positive feedback on this. Now, remember, my vote trumps. I'm just kidding. I was gonna say my vote is the vote that matters. Well, my vote is your guys' vote. I go with you guys. So, yeah. So I appreciate the feedback. Keep telling me what works for you because that's what I like to do. And so, thank you for being here. Great start to the class. Vote yes. You know what's going on right there. For the exams, we're gonna have to type in numbers. A lot of numeric entry, a lot of multiple choice. It'll be more similar to a My Pearson than it will be to the practice exams. I might even try to make I like that right there, Sharon. I might even try to make some stuff for you guys. I'll try. And weirdly enough, I just felt the first tiny bit of pain in my, I think because I bit weirdly on it. Like I'm so used to not having a problem with my, like where they literally cut out part of my gum. So I'm fine. I'm doing well. Is the exam through Pearson or Canvas? The exams will be through Canvas. The exams will be through Canvas, Respondus, Lockdown Browser. I think the practice exams are all right. I might try to make the exam is on Thursday, which is 2 days from now. So maybe today, and I should do this because I know that there's gonna be an overwhelming response to it. Might make like a 5-question fake exam. Fake exam is it's not going to count for points. Like you're not actually going to get points for this. But I might try to make. He's there. Tyler is already giving me a yes. So I'm waiting when the chat just goes yes. We already got another please. So I'll try to set aside some time today to do that. So you can take a look at it and kind of get an idea. And it'll set the pace. And I think that'll be really helpful for students in the future. A lot of positive responses. Okay, so I'm going to try later today to do that. Awesome stuff. Yep, awesome. So we will do that. I have to do it now. I'm locked into doing that. Okay, and please ask the questions like when you're like, hey Brian, this would help. I'm always open to suggestions, and you guys know that. You guys kind of guide the class. If I go too quick, if I go too slow. You guys ready? It's time. Crazy hair time is what it is. Hair just keeps getting longer. That's why we have ears, to put our hair behind our ears. There we go. So, with class time, you're allowed to have scratch paper and a TI calculator during the exams. True false is a little bit scary. But once again, I have to reiterate this. What is going to help you for the exams the most? First person in the chat to tell us what we know will super help us on those exams. You should know this instantaneously. It should be in your head every day because we have these every day. What's going to help you on the exams? Quiz right there, Thomas. You are right. Thomas was the first person to say quizzes, and he is right. Hundreds on the quizzes. I like that right there. Hannah gets another 10 points because hundreds on the quizzes. Now, of course, other things are very important, like flashcards. If you go to the study page, you'll see the topics on the exam. So there's a lot of really good resources, but doing the quizzes, getting as high of grades as possible as you can on them, they'll be very similar. They won't come straight from them. But you'll be like, kind of did a question like that. If we're used to jump to do our calculations, you won't have to do very complex, needy. You won't have to do very complex calculations. It wouldn't hurt to know the TI calculator, but I can imagine someone getting an A on the exam and not knowing how to use the TI calculator. So I don't know, with the exam being 2 days away or Thursday, my gosh, that you have to go that in depth on TI calculator stuff. So I don't think you need to go that in depth. With that in mind, let me think. So I'm looking at the assignment schedule because I think we have 2 assignments due tonight. Okay. Pivot tables. Awesome. Yes, there's videos using the TI. There are videos. Email me if you can't find them. You can use a calculator, and email me if you want to know how to do like the 5-number summary, correlation. I don't think I have a video on correlation yet. Got to remake those. That's got it. Any other last questions? I think we did great. Are we doing a reviewing class? We will review the day of for the exam. And so we will review the day of for the exam. And so the day of. And I think, look at everything. Yeah, we should be good. I'm just thinking the schedule in my head. I can't believe today's Tuesday and I need to get to lecture. So what time? It'll be all day. It'll be all day on Canvas. It's all day. I would wait till after the review. I'd plan a time for middle of the day to take it. Is the note-taking quiz guide due tonight? It is due tonight. The note-taking quiz is due tonight. Okay, it is class time. Let's do it right here. You guys ready? Let's do it. And I will say tomorrow's going to be a big day. Today is kind of a big day. And tomorrow's a big, big day. There's going to be a lot of work tomorrow. Tomorrow, don't take tomorrow lightly. Here's the biggest thing. Let me ask one question here. We need to take a vote on this. Tomorrow's lecture is a very tough one. Tomorrow's lecture is regression, which is a big topic. I teach a whole class on regression. And then the next day is the exam. That scares me a little bit. I can put the exam on Friday. So we need to do a vote here. The two hardest chapters on this test are normal curve and regression. So we need to do a poll here. So I'm going to ask you guys, and I'm already kind of swaying the poll. And we will send out a reminder of this. This is why I put that the dates are tentative, because one day is a lot of time. So I'm setting up the poll right now, if you can tell. Doing a little click, click, click in the background. And the poll should be started right now. You should start seeing it in the chat. It looks like I've probably swayed the vote. But yeah, regression is a chapter that people are going to. So yeah, it looks like it's unanimous. So I want you guys to remember this is your choosing. So I'm gonna put the exam on Friday. Gives you a little more time to look over the material. We will have an exam very shortly after this. We will be covering new material this week that's not on the exam. So with the exam, we only have one vote for Thursday, it looks like, or two votes for Thursday. It's very much Friday right here. And during the semester, one day is not that big of a deal. But one day for us is 2.5 lectures. You'll only be able to take it. I could do Thursday and Friday. Let's redo the poll. So I can do that. Someone will be like, well, I planned out Thursday. Because what if someone planned out Thursday? So now, I think I just do Thursday, Friday. So Thursday's going to be T. And then, looks like we're talking true, false right here. Friday's going to be F. I think Thursday, Friday. I want you guys. I don't know why anyone would say, don't have it open for 2 days. Now it's open for 2 days. But, wait, where's the poll? Did not like that? What am I poll? Oh, do I have too many polls? Logan, let me edit a poll right here. Pick an option. Sure. I might have made too many polls. You might only be able to make a few polls. Sorry, taking longer than I want to make the polls. Friday. And then, okay, so it's TF for Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Not Tuesday. Okay, cool. I updated that poll. Here we go. Start poll. Okay. We'd still review on Thursday. And then Friday's definitely new material. So Thursday, Friday. Yeah, so, and then remember, it's vote. So you see like there, Gracie and everyone, there we go. And so I think Thursday, Friday is going to be the winner. Yeah, it's pretty unanimous. I think that makes everybody happy. So I think it's pretty fair that if we do it that way, it's very unanimous. We're good. So we'll complete the poll. Very, very unanimous in the poll right there. Remember to look how everyone's voting, because then it'll record all the votes right there. Very, very unanimous. Good stuff. And that's why I talked to everybody, because maybe someone had planned to take it on Thursday. They're like, Brian, I took off work. I was going to do this. So if we're all, yeah, it's unanimous. We like this. Would we learn something Thursday that would be on the exam? I'll probably review regression at the start, and then I'll go in more detail. So Thursday is most likely going to go like this, because I was thinking through it in my head. If you couldn't tell, I was like, how is the time frame going to work? Today, we're going to do pivot. We're going to start correlation. Then we're going to do material at the end. Then Wednesday, we're going to finish correlation, and then we're going to do regression completely. And then at the start of Thursday, the day exam starts, we're going to do regression, and then we're going to do regression, first hour probably, review, and then we'll go into new topics. So please remember, do the assignments daily. I think we know what's going on. We got our exam talk out of the way. Are you guys ready for some pivot tables? Let's see some yeses in the chat right now. Are we ready for pivot tables? Are we ready? No one's ready. We are ready. It's time for pivot tables and pivot charts. This lecture, thank you everyone in the chat, right there. And so this lecture right here is one of those ones that you need your note cards for. You're going to hear a lot of things in this that are mainly just conceptual things you should know. Now, at the end of the semester on your project, you will have to make a pivot table or pivot chart. Do not worry, that's towards the end, which is only like 2 weeks away from tomorrow. So in a week and a half, you'll pretty much need to be making a pivot table or pivot chart. It will be on your end of semester project, which has not been released yet. So you will make one of these, but not yet. So the good news is we need to know what's going on. It's easy. Has anyone here ever made a pivot table or pivot chart? The project's not released yet, so don't go looking for the project. Not out yet. No project out yet. I'll tell you when the project's out. No one's made one yet. Yes, we see Keaton's made one. Justin has sadly made one. Making a pivot table or pivot chart was created because we get tons of data. It amuses me how much data can be out there, and you will make it in Excel. If you notice, Microsoft Excel came out with these pivot. Oof. You know what we're going to have to do? Why did these not format properly in here? Did I do something? We have to go to the screen. So let me do this. Let me move myself over. I don't know why these notes are looking weird today. Okay, cool. There we go. So Microsoft Excel right here. Right here, we got pivot tables and pivot charts. And we have so much data out there. One of my favorite things, you guys get to see me use my pens today. There's Space Pen. Is that we have terabytes. And if you think about this right here, companies like Kroger, companies like Capital One have so much data that they actually have petabytes of data. It is ridiculous. That's like if you had a terabyte on your computer and then everybody in Stat 1, all 1,000 plus students put their computers together. Companies have more data than can fit on all of your computers. And that's data on their customers. So what do we need to do? We need to turn this data into knowledge. Now, I will say this. Here's one limitation on Excel. And the project will be partly in Excel, partly in Jump. And you can use, it's ridiculous, isn't it, Isaac? You can use things like R if you want. I do accept projects done in R. I do accept projects done in Jump. So either of those I'm okay with. If you find ways to do everything in Excel, I'll accept that too, and I'll help you through whatever way. Now, a lot of my videos for the projects will revolve around using Excel and using Jump. You will need Jump on your computer to do the project in the kind of classical sense, as in if you're following what I would suggest to students. But if you find ways and can do all the work I ask you with another program, that's fine. And I'll even maybe help you, but I might not know all the answers off the top of my head because I don't use every single program. I don't do everything in Excel. But if you're like, hey, Brian, I did regression in Excel, I'll be like, cool. Yeah, I mean, I've never done regression in Excel. I do it in Jump. I did it in R. Well, cool, I know how to do it in R. There's just so many ways, but if you turn in work and it's what we want you to do, your work is accepted. I don't mind the program you use. It's just I don't know all programs. So, Microsoft Excel. Now, here's the problem. Microsoft Excel can't take ridiculously large data. It can take large data, like it can take 1,000 rows, 10,000 rows. What's its limitation? Like 1,000,000 or 100,000? It's got limitations. So why are we teaching you Microsoft Excel? It's 10 Point Tuesdays. Who knows why we would teach you Microsoft Excel? Why are we teaching you Excel if it's not the best at everything? Why not? Why don't we teach you Jump? Jump's better. I'd say Jump is better at a lot of things, maybe more. Everyone has it. Neeland, you're right. Neeland gets the 10 Point Tuesdays right there. Everybody has it. You are right. It's super common. I'm not like, and I do agree. It's not that everyone has it. I like right there. I see Nicole gets another 10 points. It's what most companies use. You got it. Very widely used. We see a lot of great answers right there. So 10 Point Tuesdays. Nice job on the two people I called out. Remember, I will call out your name right there. Nice job on those right there. So I'll call it a few more later on. Keep answering the questions. Remember, you still get the Streamlab points. If you're worried I didn't get 10 Point Tuesdays, just by being in here 10 minutes and interacting, you get 10 points by being in here and interacting. So don't worry if you don't get a 10 Point Tuesday today. You have to be here for just 10 minutes to get those 10 Point Tuesdays. So you can see people are getting a lot of points already halfway to the first extra credit goal of 1,000. Great job, Nicole. So let's continue on. We see right here that pivot tables and pivot charts allow us to isolate variables. This is the whole goal of it. So we need to know a first big note right here. The first big note we need to know, the thing you should have your pen out for, is that we should have data entered in the same way. We should have data entered in. If we're doing yes, it should be either spelled the same way. I don't know how to make this more clear. That make sure your data looks the same. Is that clear to everybody? Like, don't type capital Y and then lowercase y. Don't do that. Your data is going to get incorrectly put between groups. Don't do that. It's a bad idea. Don't do that, Skylar. Skylar gets 10 points. Don't do that. So we see this right here. Who can tell me another way to spell yes that's not on this screen? Yes, Neelan's already you got another 10. I don't know if are you reading my mind, Neelan? Do you know the way? Who has another way for another 10 points? I like Gracie gets 10 points right there. And one more. Gracie was the first person to say it. C. So there we go. And Keaton and Nicole. And I think Neelan got another 10. Who's got it? Kate, I think you guys are writing all the permutations. I think William put the accent on the C, so William gets some points there too, right there. Was that another language too? I don't know that one. I got to stop. I think, there's German, I think. Elizabeth, yes, don't put all these in here. I think Sarah gets another points. Okay, we're good. Jared, Erica, I'm stopping here. Tyler and Logan, I'm sorry if I didn't call your name. Okay. Sim is yes in Portuguese. I didn't know that. It's so similar. Portuguese and Spanish are very similar, but not the same. Wei is yes in Chinese, right? Because is it Wei Nihama? Oh gosh, I probably just butchered Chinese right there. Sorry. Oh, then I know very little Chinese, like that much. If anyone knows anything like Brian, that made no sense what you said. I don't know. Hopefully I don't know. I'm gonna stop. My Spanish is better. I can be like, sí, me llamo es Brian. Yo trabajé en un restaurante por muchos años en Kingsport, Tennessee. Muchas personas en el restaurante hablo español y they taught me Spanish. They helped me learn it. And I took Spanish in high school. En escuela secundaria, yo estudio español por 3 años. So I try. So, and if someone knows Spanish, they can be like, that was horrible, that was good. I don't know. An effort. Yeah, I liked it a lot. So, learning at all times. Enrique Iglesias. Oh, well, thank you guys. I tried. You know, it's really bad when people like, I don't know. I don't want to be that person. They're like, oh, Spanish is so bad. I miss it. Okay, enough about Brian. Pivot tables, pivot charts. Here we are back on track right here. We have right here that, oh, thank you, Hannah. So we have right here creation of pivot tables and pivot charts. This is how it looks like. Cool. Resource this when you're doing when. When will you need these screens? Who can tell me when will we need these screens right here? When will we need these screens? There's also videos for these. When you're doing the what? When you're doing the what? 10 points, who knows? When will you need these screens? When should be like, wait a minute. The project, Josh, you are right for the project right there. Nice job, Josh, right there. The project. So we have 4 very important things to know, and this is what could be on the test. Everything I'm saying kind of knowledge-wise that I'd be putting on flashcards could be on the test. So we've got columns and rows. So when you think about columns and rows, this is kind of like your X and your Y variables, but there's a very important field right here. The most important field that you have to input is this. The most important field is this. This is what you're actually displaying. You are displaying these values. You have to put this in. If you don't put this in, nothing's displayed. You have to give a value to display. It's like, what am I going to visualize? That goes into values. And then the columns and the rows just split it apart. Imagine this. Let's say we look at class level and we look at the average number of tickets they have. What would be in either the columns or rows and what would be in the values? So first person to tell me one of the correct answers, we have class level and average number of tickets. So what you have to tell me what one of those would be in. And there is 2 possible right answers for one of them. Class level, kind of, be more specific. Tickets is in values. That is correct. Class could be in columns. Yes. Class could be in columns or rows. So it's possible right there. So that was the 2 people right there. Justin, great job, Justin. Gracie, you were first. You get another 20. And Gracie came up with the idea. Gracie, you already maxed out. Amazing work. Keep answering questions, though. Gracie, you got your 20-point Tuesdays already. Keep up the great work. And then I think, so Justin and also, where was it? Class for columns, Whitney. Great job. Whitley. Sorry about that, Whitley. Whitley. Make sure to get it correct. Did I say correct? Whitley. Got it right. Good. So there we go right there. We understand that we are displaying, think about how this would be said. You are displaying the average number of tickets. Does that make sense? We're displaying the average number of tickets. That's the value being displayed. But when we talk about what are we breaking it apart by, the columns and the rows just break it apart. Now, you'd say, well, why do you need columns and rows? You could say we could display, we could do like gender and class level and average number of tickets. So gender and class level would go in the rows or the columns. You could reverse it. It's just going to kind of change the way the table's made. But gender and class level are what we are breaking the variable apart by. And then we're still displaying, when you look at it, the average number of tickets. Does that make sense? So when you look at what could be in the values field, you can do things like average. You can do things like sum, because you might not do the average number of tickets people have. You might do the total amount of tickets per these groups. The count displays how many individuals there are in these groups. That's a bit of a weird one. But these are just options right here to how are you going to display this variable. Do you want a count of how many individuals there are? So you wouldn't get how many tickets they had if you did that. You'd see how many people are male freshmen. But if you did, so let me highlight this. If you did count of gender and class level, no matter what the value being displayed is, it'll tell you how many people are male freshmen. But if you did sum of male freshmen with the variable being number of tickets, you would get how many tickets have male freshmen gotten. If you did average, you would get the mean amount of tickets for that group. And you're right, this is now bivariate. Getting so many calls. Kingsport. Hopefully leave a message. Say, Brian, don't eat solid food. And I say, oh no. Max would tell you the maximum amount for each group, and min obviously tells you the min. This is specifically related to the value field. I can't make this clear enough that the value field right here has a value field setting. There is a value field setting. Think about it. Value field setting. So it's what we are displaying in the value field and how we're displaying it. So when you think about what does the value field do, it shows us a certain value inside the pivot chart or pivot table. How we display that value and break it apart is based on the columns and the rows. So let's look at this. Nice job. Claire gets 10 points. That's a great thing. There is a setting for the value field that controls the min, the max, the sum, the count. Like we can change it between these options right here. So if you look at it right here, we have gender and we have are you in a fraternity or sorority? And then we are displaying the average number or the average height. These are the heights. Now, where do you really notice the differences? Are the differences within between, let's say, males who are not in fraternities and sororities, or males who are in them, or between females, or the difference really between males and females right here? It's between the genders. And that's where you kind of notice this. And we will see this in just a moment a little more clearly. We get to some fun examples later on. You can make your pivot table into a pivot chart. This is just one button right here. I do have videos going over this. So every pivot table can become a pivot chart. Please just turn in your pivot chart. I'll explain more later, but pivot charts can have a pivot table in them. I'll show you that in a moment. Here we are. This slide just says when you make a table in the pivot table, it'll be changed to the pivot chart. You'll experience that. This pivot chart right here would not be good. Now, why have we displayed it? This pivot chart right here is a very, very basic pivot chart and does not contain a lot of the important elements we need to make it clear. So you might see questions on the test like, what could we add to this? So when you think about what you can add to it, you could add titles. Here's the box that shows you everything you can add to it. I want you to think of it this way. First person to say this gets 10 points. Pivot charts should be a work of art. Someone start typing. You'll remember it then. Pivot charts should be a work of art. Who's got this right here? Pivot charts should be a work of art. I really believe that. Who believes that with me? Pivot charts should be a work of art. Camden right there gets some 10 points. Pivot charts should be a work of art. And so when you think about this, you want to be proud of the work of art you create. You want to add this in right here. You want to think of it as something that should be displayed and make sense. I still think there's an error in this one. I'd actually change the decimals. That's personal preference. Yeah, I do think I should update this graphic. I've gotten better at my pivot chart creation, and my videos do show you how to change the decimals. You would just select this and go to the delete decimals button. I can't select it here because it's not an active element, but I need to update this graphic. I made it so long ago, and I make them better now because you make better art as you progress through time. So I'll show you. I'll make a pivot chart here at the end. And so this one's a little bit better. You know what? Why not? I'm going to remake this graphic right here, which I think we should be able to pretty easily remake. Let me go in and grab some data that we can do this with, and we're going to remake this. I want to show you that, I think people worry about these things because they say, this is, it's going to take so long. But when you practice these things and you've made a lot of pivot tables, a lot of pivot charts, you get in the habit of doing it. It becomes easier. So we select all of our data. There's videos doing this. I know I'm about to do this very quickly. So we go here. We select all of our data first. I click inside of here. I select all the data. I go to Insert. I go to Pivot Table. I click OK. So now we've got the options. I'll make the text bigger here so you can see it. Well, that text's not bigger. That's not going to help. We're going to go here to Gender. Gender is going to go here. And then we're going to go to Fraternity Sorority. Where's Fraternity Sorority? There's Fraternity Sorority. And then we're going to go to Height. We're going to put height right here. And you see right now, I need some help from people. It's right behind me. Let me bring it over this way. You know what I might need to do? I might need to go to the other side of the screen. What do I have right here? I have behind me, or now it's to the other side of the screen. That looks so weird. But if you look over there on the far side of the screen, I have over there all the fields we were talking about. It's much bigger on the slides. All those fields you were seeing are the fields right here. These are all the fields, and they are right down there. So let's go look at that again. I'm going to block them again. It's not the best orientation. I'll make it bigger so you can see it. And can I not make that text bigger? Sorry, this is... Those are the fields right there. That works to a certain extent. I'm going to click this button right here. I'm going to go to Value Field Setting. You can see that behind my head just barely. Let me look at the chat again. I had to close the chat for a second to see this. So I'm going to go to Value Field Settings. Everyone's saying Pivot Table should be a work of art. I do like the same decimals for everything. And we'll click Average right here. You can fix the decimals just by doing this. And then going to Home. And then going to the Delete Decimals button. So now I have fixed the decimals. Hey, what's up, Walker? Why are you not a mod, Walker? So good to see you, Walker. Make sure. Walker, are you never a mod? Now I'm worried. I thought you were a mod. That's why I'm like, wait a minute. Different account. Just in case. We had someone who swung by yesterday who I think wasn't a student. So just so good to so good to see you, Walker. So good to see you. We're doing pivot tables and pivot charts. And Walker was in the class where I speedrunned it last semester, and we did it super quick. Because guess what? Now we can go here, and we can go to pivot charts, and we can just insert one right here, and we got it. Now we're going to go to the icon, and we're going to go right here, and we're going to go to Access Titles, and we're going to put in those Access Titles. We're going to call this right here Greek Life. So good to see you, Walker. I hope you're having a great summer. Greek Life. And we'll go right here. This should be average height. We can go here to the colors on these. If we go back here, I think we need to right-click it to go to colors. You can go to fill, so you can pick any color you want. I like it when it selects both of them. Really? Might have to hold control. You can do it. There, it selected both of them now. I've had that issue where it doesn't select both. What do you guys think? What color should we pick? You guys need to help me pick the color for males and females. What should be the color for males? You guys help me out here. I've gone too long without asking a question. Purple. I like purple. You guys know I like purple. 10 points right there. Purple wins. Purple. What color should be the color for females? What color should be the color for females? Orange. Gotta go purple. That is a great color scheme. I like that right there. There we go. Orange right there. Did anyone else say Vols? So orange also gets points for Thomas right there. Got another 10. So we got the points right there. Sarah said orange to 10 points, and Camden had purple first. You know, I gave it away. I like purple. So now we're going to go here to the plus icon. You can click all of these. Now be careful. It could get crazy. You don't want to add in, this is bad art, or at least in my idea, bad art. I wouldn't put these both in the same spot. I'm not preferential to data labels on top. I like the data table below. Now I want everyone to realize something. Why would you take a picture of this and down here? I'm saying this now, and it's going to happen. It's going to happen in the project. I want to take off points. I want to be mean. But maybe get some background gradient fill. Yeah, we could do that. Why would I not take a picture? As long as your art's not too crazy, I'll be okay with it. Why would I not take a full picture of like all of this right here? Why would that be a bad picture? You can use Snip. Yep. Why would this be a bad picture? All the information right here is contained inside of here. So it's just repeat. It's not needed. It's the same thing. So it's not well organized. What we're missing right now is a title on this. So we need to go here to, where's title? Where's title? Why am I going blind? Chart title. Wow. I have lost my mind. And then we can go here and we could say average height by Greek life displaying, if I knew how to spell. Oh, wait, I did average height. So average height by Greek life, and gender. The G and the F are next to each other. So average life by Greek life and gender. So that's all it is. It's average height by Greek life and gender. Cool, we got it. You can do other things right now, like personal preferences right here. I'm going to click this text. I'm going to make that bigger. That's way too big. I'm going to go here to this text. I'm going to make this bigger. That's good right there. Now I'm going to snip it. So let's go here. And there we go. I like this shot right here. We don't need the bottom thing. So now we're going to go back to our slides. Right here. And it does say 201 students. That one was a little more, so I like that better right there. I could make the numbers bigger if I wanted. So that one was a little more scrunched, but you can play with this. You can do whatever you want. You can make it a little more like this, if you like that right there. And you can make these numbers bigger if you want by going down here and doing that. That's probably, I like this best now. Let's see how this looks. So when you think about this, imagine you're going to project it in a boardroom or something. Imagine this will be on a big screen and you want everyone to easily, clearly read it and see it. If I am reinforcing one thing to you right now, it's take pride in every little bit of work you do, because even I'm going in here and being like, this should look better. Who here thinks, we got to go backwards in time. We've got this now. Does this look better than, here, we'll do it back and forth. Ready? We got this, or we've got, I wish it would come in the right size. So here's option 1, or we have option number 2. I think we've done better, in my opinion, with this. The decimals look better. The numbers, option 1, I agree. And if you look, it wasn't too hard for me to like redo this whole thing. It has a slightly different title, but yeah, the numbers are a little bit bigger. It's a little bit clearer to see. So if you can't tell, even I try to take pride in what I do, that I can improve it. I've been doing these things for years now. Looks a lot cleaner, very easy to read. You know, I'm displaying this in a screen. I could make it a little bit bigger, who knows? But when I try to put out slides, I try to put them out as best I can. And of course, as time goes on, I get better at what I do. I'm even looking for that center of the screen. It's saying the center's there. I mean, I don't know. It's weird to me because Greek life doesn't look too... I guess that is the center. Cool. Can you explain the importance of the values again? Yes, great question right there. Neil, another 10 points. You might be at your 20. Maybe you can only get 20 points on 20 Point Tuesdays, but great job. So the values, which is, it's maybe right there. That's the value field right here. It's at the bottom of the screen. I'm going to move away from it, or I'm going to have to really go off the screen. It's right here. So the values is what is being displayed. So I'm going to take, you'll have to look behind me right now. I'm taking that out. Nothing's in there. Oh, man, I'm so loud. And then let's go to most spent on blue jeans. And now we're displaying the sum, which is the total addition of how much everyone spent on blue jeans. Now we're going to go here to value field setting, which you can see right behind my head. And then we're just going to change this to average. So now if you look, so now we would change this to average. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click enter and do that. So that starts a new line when I do that. So that way we're displaying, and I might, where would I go? That looks all right there. You know, I'm going to, Jared gets 10 points. I was like, did I just write spend? There we go. Jared, 10 points. Good correction right there. Beastman, bobbing and weaving, making these things right here. So if you look, who is spending the most on blue jeans? And there's some big differences right here. And if you look, we can change it. You can change what's in the rows. I would not display it like that. So now if you look at this right here, we have it displayed a little bit differently right here. So females usually spend more than males, but we do see Greek life plays a role, but the Greek life more importantly plays a role for female Greek lives. And this is real data. So you even know the last time we wore jeans, I'm a huge fan of jeans. So personal preference and everything. But this is the most spent. Remember, this is not how much people on average spend. It's how much have you spent at most. Now you want to see something crazy? Let's do this. First person to interpret this properly. I want someone to interpret that person right. Dang it, I gave it away in part. I want someone to interpret this right here, because what is this showing us now? I mean, I've kind of said it, but I want to see someone say it in the chat. You can see it behind my head just barely if you notice what I put in. And I've made the chart clear on what it is. And so, yes, I like Justin's answer right there. Maximum amount each person. I'll take it. I'm going to clarify Justin's answer a little bit. What this is, and maybe it's because I know the data better. So, Justin, you got the 10 points right there. It's a particular person. It's the maximum for each group. So it could be outliers like Laura points out. Laura, 10 points right there. It could be an outlier. Maybe the max is not an outlier, but I'd say 500 does appear to be an outlier. But it's the maximum amount spent for each person in this group. So it's not everybody. This only takes into account one person. It's the maximum amount spent by a specific person in that group right there. Nice job, Nealon, right there. So that's what the max is displaying to us. What do you think we'll get for mins? What do you think if I go to mins? I have a good guess of what we'll get. Any guesses on what we'll get for a lot of the groups if we go to min? How do you know if there's outliers? Not with this graphic. Whitley, 10 points right there. This graphic, and we got first person Justin, you were right, and also Matthew get 10 points. We get some zeros in here. So we do have some people who say they spent nothing on blue jeans. So we get a lot of zeros because just theoretically, someone could be like, I've never bought blue jeans, so the most I've spent on blue jeans is 0. It just depends. I mean, are we saying your parents have bought you these? And I'm not saying everyone's parents buy them clothing, but imagine we're asking this to freshmen and sophomores in college, which maybe a lot of you are. Could you imagine a scenario where someone's never bought blue jeans for themselves? Can you imagine that scenario? I could. I don't know if when I was a sophomore, if I had went out and actually paid myself. So someone interprets it, what have I spent for blue jeans? They might say, I've never actually bought blue jeans with my money. Wait, what does it say if maximum height is... Oh, and this is... So if we do height again, we'll see the tallest person in each group. And we do min again, we'll do the shortest person. In your country, people don't wear jeans? That's... Wow. It's interesting. Didn't know that. Can we make these in jump? You can try. I know how to make them in R. I figured out a way to make them in R. I was really excited. Someone else could have bought them for them. Yep. So this graphic tells a story that we see males especially maybe are less likely to buy their clothes. Now, we can't say that because of this graphic. It leads into an important thing I like to say. The stats don't lie. The statistician does. I'm extrapolating from this. That will come up in a bit. But there might be... I'll send you some stuff, Ben. Email me and I'll send you a thing I have for that. I don't have a video. It's very complex, but it's very cool. I like it a lot. Ben, that's awesome. Ben, 10 points. It's a great question. That's awesome, Claire. And so, Jorts or clutch. We have asked, if you look at the Jorts question, that one's an interesting thing to look at because this one might have Jorts. But if you can't tell, you know what we just did? We just kind of did the whole lecture right there. When I was making that graphic was the whole entire lecture. Yeah, I'll have to send me about it too, Isaac, and I'll send you it. So you can see how to organize stuff and how to do it. Let's look at a little more graphics right here. I really like these graphics. It's so hard to read the numbers. This is the average number of children people want to have based on their relationship status. So we have whether people are male or female, and then we have their relationship status. Who really wants to have kids right here? Who really wants to have kids in this graphic? Can anyone read it? Might be a little small on the screen. Speed run. We'll do a speed run. We got it. We'll do a speed run at the end of this. You ready? I will do a speed run. You guys are promised a speed run. And it'll be very quick. Females, I do agree females. But wait a minute. These females right here, so these females right here want to have kids as much as these males. You know what's funny, though? Married males, I see it right there. So you caught my eye right there, Nicole, with that answer. Nicole, you're right. They're the ones who most want to have kids. Males who are engaged or married, you are right. They're the ones who like really want to have kids. They're like, yes, I want to have kids. And you know what's funny though? One of the biggest differences is it's complicated, and that jump right there, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So let's look at this right here. What do we have going on right here? This is the count. So this is not how many children people want to have. It's how many people are in each group. Now, what do you notice for most Stat 2-1 students? Most Stat 2-1 students are what or what? Most Stat 2-1 students are what or what? I know, right, Jack? They're single or dating one or more person, dating several people. Maybe these 17, 16, they're all dating each other. That's what's going on. So, I don't know what's going on. So you can see it right there. You got it. And then you've got the male female right there. And so here's the interesting stuff, though. This is the maximum value. Does anything jump out to you here about any individuals? Now, in technicality, this could be more than one individual, especially when you think about females who want to have 4 children who are engaged or married. This could be more. So this represents at least one individual. People are saying single females. There's a single female right here, not dating anybody, but they're saying, I want to have 16 kids. And it'd be great if they could be with this male, but he's engaged or married. Well, I mean, whoever they want to be with. I want to make that very clear. But I mean, yeah. Well, yeah. Okay, let me just point out. They have similar interests in these respects. I don't know how they pair otherwise. They might have completely different preferences in any regard. She might not be interested in men. Might not be interested in females. So whatever they like, but at least in this regard, they're a little bit similar. But he is engaged, so he's off the market. But thanks for that relax there, Kyle. It's just so right there, 16. I know, 16 children. That's a lot. But I will say this. It's like, when you think about it, it's just maybe not for you or me. But I know some people who are in children or families of 16 or close. I think it's like 14 or 15, and it creates an interesting dynamic. Like it obviously, when you have that many siblings, like my mom comes from a family of 5, and I think that's very large. I come from a family of 3. No, 16 is the number of children they want to have. 8 siblings. So it's really interesting. And I had one, your Mac's grandma comes from a family of 13. Wow. And especially 8 kids in high school. Wow. It's interesting. 12 brothers. Wow. It's just like, I think it's interesting. No sisters. That is so crazy. You want to know the probability of that? The probability of 12 brothers is 0.5. Can I raise this? Can't raise it. It's 0.5 to the 12th power. That is so improbable. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's the probability. About 1 in 5,000 times that would occur, or 1 in 4,000. Nice job, Isaac got it too. That looks to be about 1 in 4,000 if I'm doing my... You can take that number. Oh, no. 1 divided by that. 1 in 4... I was right. 1 in 4,000 or so. Close on my guess on it. I should have just realized what 2 is, because you can double 2. So I could have done it that way too. I could have ran that in my head. Very, very, very unlikely. That just seems crazy. Yeah, and so, it'd be cool. It'd be cool to maybe analyze if that happens for a reason. Like, but it could happen. It's just very rare. And we almost kind of just did a p-value, because what was the probability of that occurring by random chance? So I just looked at it. If male female is 50-50. XX. Here's the problem though. This is a quick rant on this. Chromosomes are not even XX and XY. So chromosomes are not just XY and XX. Is it? I want to say one of the names, but I don't want to get it wrong. But you can have, and I think differences in genetics like XXY, and can you be? Can you be X? I think one of them starts with a C if I remember the name of it properly. I think this one. I don't want to say a wrong name and then be completely and utterly wrong, but I think that one starts with the C, the name of it. You can be XYY, yeah, and that's so crazy to me. So that's like, it's like, well, even when it comes to this right here, there's not quite, yeah. Can you be just? You need to send me something on that, because if you can, I don't know about that. Can you on your? I am right. Is Klinefelter syndrome? If I am right on that, I don't know if I am right on that. If that is the name of it. That's the name of that one right there. I don't know. It is. I don't know if people are confirming or not. So we got into a lot of stuff here with genetics and everything, fun stuff on all the genetics and everything. But we look at this. That is so crazy. I'll look into that, Jack. That's so crazy. It's just like, I think the biggest thing we try to understand with this class, that is so crazy. Genetics, so crazy. You guys can't tell. I love to learn, and I hope you guys feel the same way, especially after taking this class, that learning is just interesting. Oh, is that what it is? I've heard of that one. I just didn't know that's what it's called. There we go. Laura and Jack, 10 points, teaching me things, helping Brian learn things. It is Klinefelter syndrome. Yep, that's what I thought. I may have said C, but I didn't know how to spell it because I don't spell it out much, but I have heard it. So that's what I was thinking of. I was like, I think that's what I don't talk about it that much. So all of this stuff you're seeing right here, that's the whole lecture. We had a little bit of fun. We got off topic a little bit, as we always do. Little bit of randomness. Got the balloons for the randomness today. Should have. The balloons are deflating. No. It's behind me now. Can't lean back. Explodes. So if you can't tell, the whole point of this lecture, which is why I guess I kind of did it on the screen, is to learn how to make this stuff. There is no homework for this. This will be covered on the project. This will be covered on the test. You should understand what these 4 boxes do behind me right here. You should understand the basics. Here is my suggestion to you. If you want a good quick review of this, watch the playlist, and we will do chapter 5, part 2. Let's do that now. And then tomorrow, I'm going to cover chapter 6 and chapter 7. Let's do chapter 5, part 2 now. Yep. Email me anything about R and we'll do it. Subway. Oh, speedrun. Christina, 10 points for reminding me of the speedrun. Okay. You got it. Sorry, I would have forgotten, and I appreciate that. Because I was like, we got to do that homework. Okay. So how quickly... We got to bring up our speedrun screen. You ready? Let me get this organized. Because I don't have a screen organized for speedrun now. So let me go over to speedrun real quick. You'll see the speedrun graphic, but we're going to go back. I know about where it should be at. How close was I? And let me bring up the speedrun timer because I was doing the other thing. There's the data right there. Let's bring up speedrun timer. So speedrun timer's loading up right here. Hopefully it's the right size today. I think it just doesn't want to stay the right size. I fixed it yesterday. I reset the computer and it resets the size. Let's see a world record. I'll look at it because last semester I did one online and I claimed the world record. So I'm going to have to put like former world record on it. I'll have to update the video title to say former world record if I beat it. I think I did it in about 5 minutes. So I'm going to make the goal of this speedrun right here. Let's go back because we're going to introduce it. Okay. So I am going for the world record in making a very presentable pivot table and pivot chart. Now, the pivot chart is what we're going for right here. So the pivot chart, we're trying to go sub 5. I think that's the record. I can't recall. Brian Stevens has it. I'm Brian Stevens. So I'm gonna be my own PR. I'm gonna be my own record right here, going sub 5. And the goal of this, especially what you should understand from this, is that when you practice this up, when you make a pivot chart a few times and you understand how to make it, it's pretty easy to make, but it takes practice. So we're going to give this a shot right here. Let's hop over to the speedrun screen. Let's say hey to Mega Man. What's happening? There's our Mega Man. And so here we are on our speedrun screen. We got the timer ready to go. So I will go quickly here. Make sure to review the videos in the playlist on how to do. So I'm going to try to put this in my playlist too. You should see those videos above you maybe if you're in the playlist. But I do have videos on how to do each of these steps very slowly and very thoroughly. So you're going to hear me do the speedrun. It's going to be quick. Get ready. Here we go. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click Control A inside of here and select all my data. I'm going to go to Insert, and I'm going to go to Pivot Table. I'm going to click OK. This is going to open it in a new worksheet right here. So now I'm going to pick things. I'm going to pick different ones right here. I'm going to pick something like, let's go to gender right here. And then let's also go to class level. We're going to go to gender and class level. Those are in the rows and columns now, which are breaking it apart. But we need the variable we are displaying, which is in the values field. The values field shows that the value we are displaying, but most importantly, we need to change the value field setting. The value field setting is going to be how we display this value scene right here. So I'm going to change it to averages. Now we want to change the decimals by clicking the first number, then holding Shift and clicking the last number. We're going to go to home right here and delete the decimals with the following button. This deletes that, so adds the decimals. We don't want to add decimals, we want to delete decimals. Most GPAs are in 2 decimal places, so that's the way I'm reporting it right here. I'm going to click inside the table. Now I'm going to go to Analyze right here, and Analyze has the pivot chart. We're going to go ahead and click this. I don't like the way this is being displayed, so I'm going to switch to the gender. I'm going to switch to the class level, which reorients it right here. I like this a little bit better. Now there's a quick button I didn't show you last time right here. The quick layout is this button right here. This adds a lot of the elements that I want. One thing that it's missing is a chart title down here at the bottom, so I'm going to go here and I'm going to go to Access Titles. I'm going to go to the inner menu. I'm going to go to Primary Horizontal right here. I'm going to change this. Now I just need to change this right here. We're going to go to, this is class level. And then we're going to go right here and we're going to go, boom, right here. We're going to go to, this is average GPA. Then we're going to go right here. We're going to go to average GPA by, and then I'm going to go new thing right here, by class level. And what was it? Gender. There we go right there, gender. And then we're going to remove these fields. Boom, boom, boom. Now we got it. Let's look at our size, and we're going to slow down just a little bit right here. I like this size. Now it will be a little bit bigger when I put it in the thing. That looks great right here. I think I have everything done. I think I've got, I'm going to click away from it. I'm going to go over here. That's our previous one we just made. That looked great. This one looks just as good. I'm going to be very careful on my screenshot. Probably the most important part of it. Make sure I get all the edges. And here we go. Boom, we got it. Oh, wait, what's our time? Sub 2. Oh my gosh, what's going on? There we go. These numbers below right here are the numbers that are being displayed. So yeah, you can tell I got focused. Sorry, I wasn't looking at chat. So that's sub 2 minutes right there. I want to look at the, stop it. Stop the timer right there. Yeah, I know. PR and world record. I think we got it. So that was me even explaining what I'm doing. Who knows? Maybe I went 1 minute last time, but maybe that was sub 2. But, you know, depending on how you want things displayed, some of this comes down to personal preference. Maybe I cheated a little bit because in truth, I would want this a little bit bigger. I'm cheating. I'm changing it. I should have changed my font sizes. It's too big. Maybe I'll make these the same. I want that 16. Is this 16? Just for similarity purposes, I might make those bigger. You can change font sizes here too. You can click these and then click here on these. And I like this because it doesn't wrap. If you notice when I clicked it one more time, it wrapped the non-traditional. So watch out, you can get weird stuff. So sorry, well, thank you so much for that, Neelan. But just this right here, depending on how you want it, there's always, do you ever need to adjust the increments? Yeah, you can do a lot that we didn't even talk about. You can click this right here and you can change the axis. Like if you see it, you can click it. So when you see like this axis right here, you could adjust the scale on that axis. So one of the biggest things is just kind of, you know, just trying something. Like, you know, click on anything. Like let's click on this bar and see what happens. Cool. I don't know what that's going to do. Let's click something. Whoa. If you didn't know it, Control Z or Command Z undoes stuff. So if you don't know the button Control Z or Command Z, it's amazing. It just undoes what you last did. I think that did another variable inside of here. So if I understand what's going on, this is going to add another variable to it. And so if I do something with 2 variables, it did like a sub variable. So this is not a good display anymore, but it did like a sub variable. So you could go within another variable, and this is a quad, like a trivariate display, a quadvariate display, or multivariate. We would just call it multivariate. How will you be tested on this? A lot of like knowledge-based stuff. I'll go back to the main screen again right here. I was like, change over. We need merch. I've thought about that. So I'll do like at cost and stuff like that. I've almost put super chats on here, but I don't want students spending money if they, I don't want I turned it on twice and turned it off twice. Super chats. I turned it on and I turned it off, and I was like, I don't want you guys. I wouldn't want someone to be like, I gave Brian $20, because it almost sounds like you're buying grades. I've had many people say I'd super chat. I want to support you guys. Maybe we could do merch. That might be all right, because then it's like, and I wouldn't, it would say like any proceeds from this would go to UT. Yeah, and then if we did like Stat Twin shirts, like Stat Nation, if we just had like Stat Nation on a shirt, then you can't buy grades. we have the A in the store for $100 trillion, and if anyone ever buys that, we'll solve world hunger with it. For the cost of 1A in Stat Twin, it'll solve all the problems in the world, but it'll never happen. Stat Nation shirt, that'd be pretty cool. If you guys want it, let me say this, because we're having to. So let me go back to the main question that I think was Gracie asked. You need to know this stuff conceptually. Of which 1 trillion. You heard it here. 1 trillion. 1 trillion. Wait, I think I said 100 trillion, not 1 trillion. 100 trillion. 100 trillion. 100 trillion for 1A on a note-taking quiz. That's the cost. 100 trillion for 1A on a note-taking quiz. Not 100 trillion $, like 100 trillion actual dollars. So 100 trillion. For something you can do in 20 minutes is infinite money cost. So, what was that? Oh, it said something from Knoxville Zoo, so what's going on? Oh, cool. It's about a burp. Okay. I don't get that meme, Thomas. I need to understand that meme better. No. We have to solve all the world problems. That's the cost of our integrity. $100 trillion. There's no negotiating it. There's no 100 trillion. I'll report you unless you deliver to me all the money in the world. Nope, seriously, don't ever try to bribe me. Please don't. The weirdest moment I've ever had, this is Brian's story time with Brian. I had a student who said, I'll give you $20 if you can get me in your class. And I was like, do I report this? I was like, I wanted to say, like, why would you say that to me? That's not how this works. And that's not even for grades or anything. I was just like, no, I don't take money. I don't take money from students. So that's why especially I didn't do the super chats, because I don't want it ever to look like that. I would never want some ambiguity, like someone gave a super chat and they got a good grade, or like I give preference to someone because they gave a super chat, or if you ask a question in a super chat, I'll answer the question. So yeah, they were like walking beside me and they're like, I really want to be in your class, Brian. I'll give you $20. And I was like, it caught me so off guard that I was like, what? Exclusive Binding of Isaac. What's going on with that? What's going on? You need to tell me more about that sometime, Isaac. What's going on with that? What is a super chat? Some channels have the ability to kind of take money. YouTube actually takes 30% of the money. Tell me more about that, Isaac. Email me about that, and I'll learn more about that, because all of a sudden I'm interested. But wait, what are we going to need to know for the exam? You need to know things like this. Where are pivot tables made? Things like this. We need data to look the same. We need to know what all of these fields are right here. All of these fields, the things I was highlighting. So how do you change the value field? What can it change to? Need to know how to make one look good. Like, what is this missing? It's missing. It has a chart title. It does not have axis titles. So you notice this has axis titles. You saw me adding those in. It does not have a data table. So also the numbers, I fixed those. So really going from here to here is one of the biggest goals. Guys are cracking me up. I did not say that, Keaton. So this is the majority of the lecture. If you can't tell, this is not that hard of a lecture. You just have to understand. And if you want to make sure you know how to do this, here's Brian's #1 tip for knowing how to make a pivot table and pivot chart. Watch this video again and spend about 1 hour just playing with pivot tables and pivot charts. Does that make sense? The only thing I didn't mention is the filter option. I should mention that. I just think it's self-explanatory, but I realize some things are not. All the filter option does, that messed that up. The filter option, who has a guess for 10 points knows what the filter option will do? What will the filter option do? What will the filter option do? 10 points. Who knows what the filter option will do? Any idea on the filter option? What will filter do? It's behind me. Oh, there it is right there. It'll filter, Isaac says. You got it. Claire and Isaac, you both get 10 points right there. It filters. That's what it does. So you could go here and you could filter out people who are born in Tennessee. Sorry, people born in Tennessee. If you notice, we get this filter option right here, and we can select things. So we can remove the people born in Tennessee, and then you'll see the graphic change. If you notice, the graphic changed when I used the filter option. Interestingly enough, you don't need to use the filter option on things you have included, because you could remove all the females right here. Sorry, females. And now we just have the males who are not born in Tennessee. We could switch it to the males who are born in Tennessee with the following. Now we're just looking at the males who are born in Tennessee, and you notice the graphic changes. And that's what one of the slides said also, is that these two are connected. Removes any results from your table. Yeah, it filters them out. So pretty cool, pretty easy to use. And this is, if you could make these graphics, you know the whole lecture. So does it seem it's an easier lecture? It's okay. Cracking me up, Isaac. Yeah, so it's, I think, like, you need to understand how to make this and what all these fields do. Rows and columns, just divide them apart. Values is what you're actually displaying. You remove the value, you got nothing being displayed. So you need the value in there. Rows and columns are just how you're dividing the variables apart. We do have gender currently removed from the graphic. I mean, we were filtering out females, so we only had males. And then you can see this right here. Like, that looks a bit ridiculous. You can switch rows and columns. It just switches the way they're being displayed. It'll change the way it visually creates the graphic. So depends. Maybe you want it to look like that. You can also, there's so many more options. You can change, all the different display options. We barely scratched the surface of all the things you can do. And the quick layouts are really nice too, because you can do so much. It's endless. It's art. It's art. I don't like this art right now though. But try just clicking the buttons. But what you should be responsible for is this thing behind my head. If you don't know how to utilize this, if you don't know how to use that thing right there, then you're in trouble, because that's literally like you don't know how to pick up the paintbrush. These are the paintbrushes, and then how you paint is infinite options. I have no idea what's going on. What is the basic definition of a pivot table? A pivot table is a graphical display inside, or excuse me, a pivot table is a table used to display Excel data. I guess that's it. That we can augment and control. A pivot chart displays the information. Did Mike Tyson join the chat? I have no idea what's going on. I do not know what just happened. Nice job, Gracie, right there. Okay, I think we've done it. We've done some really good. We had an hour on pivot tables and pivot charts. Great stuff. Someone want to tell me the Mike Tyson meme so I can be in on it? I can know what's going on. Brian can understand. I want to be cool. The day when I don't get the memes, or I don't get the jokes. Like, if I even got told by someone yesterday that Crash Bandicoot's old, and I said Crash Bandicoot's timeless. And they said you need new memes. I was talking to my friend Kevin. He might actually he said he might swing by. I was getting his advice. I said, what's cool these days? Sad thing is he's in his 30s now too. It's sad. Once you turn 30, you lose, you don't know what's cool anymore. And I'm getting closer to 40. So then I really won't know what's cool. Then everything you do is not cool when you hit 40. You lose your cool. Like, I'm wearing Dig Dug. When I turn 40, this will no longer be cool. We're going to chapter 5, part 2 right now. I'm just transitioning screens. We got to hit the transition music. We should be hearing some Mario. Yeah, we got the transition music going right here. And let's go to replace questions on the homework. Is this chapter 5, part 2? It is. There we go. Do it to the music right there. Cool. How are we doing in chat right here? Sometimes I can't see the chat while I'm doing all this. Can you give an example of on how this topic would be asked on the exam? Yeah. I'll watch TikToks. Oh man, see, that's why I'm behind, because I don't know TikToks. TikTok is immoral. Sister thinks everything. That's funny, Camden. I'm down with it. So cool. Okay. I don't know if Mike Tyson have a TikTok or something like that. So I think I might know the meme now. Maybe I do. I don't know. The question was, can you give us an example of how this topic will be done on the exam as we have a fire hydrant fire truck outside? Usually we ask things like, what can you add to this pivot table or pivot chart? Or we ask things like, what do we else? Like, what does the columns field do? What does the values field do? If you wanted to change this, what field would you change? Questions like that. Like, someone wants to display the average, what field would change that? If someone wanted to display the average of something, what field would change that? You guys will have to tell me. We need a stat to win TikTok, it appears. So I'm too afraid of cringy. I'm too afraid to be cringe. People are like, oh, it's the value. So you're right, Justin. Justin, 10 points right there. And Claire, 10 points. You got it. You guys keep giving me ideas. I'm always up for those ideas. I asked so many, like, what could we do? What could we change? So, if you guys posted, like, my stats teacher doing speed runs of our topics in class, getting the world record, well, who knows? If you guys want to do it, yeah, I guess. I don't know. TikTok, you got to be short. You got to be quick. I don't know. Teaching on TikTok. How long can... Let me ask one quick question, then we'll start doing the assignment. How long can TikTok videos be? Like, I know what TikTok is, obviously, but I don't know the platform that well. 1 minute, 15 seconds, or 60. Okay, so you get two options. So I'd have to do something like and I do 60-second videos now, and then do TikToks go away? Is a poor man's Vine. I remember Vine back in the day. You have to shave 40 seconds off. So that's all the, like, yeah. So if you guys, you can delete them. So, but they just like, would you make a catalog of TikToks? Is that how it works? So, like, you know how, like, I have YouTube videos. You'd make, I mean, I could make TikTok videos where I explain statistical concepts on TikTok. So, I could try that. I could be like the central limit theorem, and I could try to do fun stuff on that. You'll track it. I'm a YouTube person, so you guys can give me advice, and maybe we'll start doing that. So who knows? Who knows? It's yeah. Cool. There are professors on TikTok. Hannah, if you can send me people's just dance to my Mega Man. I'll do some Fortnite dances. Don't worry, I'm never gonna do that. Don't forget us when you go viral. My goal is to get the YouTube channel to go viral, but maybe the way to do that is, I mean, TikTok is a utilized platform. It's maybe the YouTube wave is going down and the TikTok wave. I know. Yeah, Christina, and if you guys can send me educational TikToks so I can see how they're doing that. Yeah, I need to look into that because apparently that, you know, is a trend that I've not started. So, yeah, it might be even yeah. Cool. Well, you know, I should have started that when I thought of it. I thought of it like a year ago. Cool. Even for education, well, you guys are pulling me in that direction. It looks like you might start hearing about Stat 201 TikTok. I gotta look at how they're doing it. For reviewing airlines, that's cool, Justin. Send me his video, send me his thing, and tell me how it goes. Okay. This was our 5-minute break. Sorry for a random 5-minute break. Okay. You guys ready? You guys ready? Let's start this review right here. Here we go. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Time for Brian's learned. Brian has learned. You guys are educating Brian. So we just had our break. I'm sorry, that was like an impromptu 5-minute break, but we definitely had our good break right there. Okay. Here we go. Time for the assignment. Remember, if you are watching this video, you can rewind it live. So let's say you do want to take a break right now. You can go take a break. You can relax for a minute. You can go get a drink or something like that. Go get yourself some coffee. Go get yourself some OJ. But you can always rewind these videos live, and then you can catch back up to us by clicking that live button down below right here. So with this in mind, let's look at this question. What are we given to start right here? We are given data. We like data. So we can copy this data to the clipboard right here. Copy, copy, copy. Got the data copied. We're going to go over here to jump. We're going to bring this data into jump. Now, I'm kind of going above and beyond, but it's going to make my life easier by doing this. I'm going to open a new. You don't have to have jump to do this. So if someone's like, I don't have jump, don't worry. I don't want to do that. I want to go here to File, New. Come on. New data table. There we go. And inside the new data table, I'm just going to full screen for a second. I'm going to copy the data. Okay, so what do we have right here? We have the data inside of Jump. So notice that it's just all the data organized like this. Now I'm going to look at the question. It's going to make my life a little bit easier by doing this. This just makes it a little bit easier to see. It says what the mean time was this with a standard deviation of this. If the normal model is appropriate, what percent of times will be less than 99.12? Now, I want somebody, first person, gets 10 points on this. It all is already organized. Claire, you're right. Claire, you get 10 points. You're right. I think you've got 20, but you're at 20. I didn't need to. My brain went sideways. I want someone to tell me what the z-score for 99.12 is. What is the z-score for 99.12? So I'm going to solve it while you solve it. We need to do observation of 99.12 minus the mean of 103.88. Ah, close. No one's gotten the points yet. No one's gotten the points. Who's going to get the points? No one's gotten the points yet. No one's gotten it. Jack got it right there. Nice job, Jack. Don't worry. It is -1. And I want you to think about this. This is one standard deviation below the mean. Does everyone see it? It's one standard deviation below the mean. Does that make sense what the z-score is? This question doesn't ask what the z-score is, but it makes sense to solve it, and I'll tell you why. Now we're actually going to do something right here. We're going to go close all this out. Boom, got it. Because when we draw this, if the normal model is appropriate and you draw this out, you would draw the following graphic. You would draw this, and you'd put, I'm just going to do the following, abbreviating the numbers. I put this as the mean right here, and I'm pretending the standard deviation is 4 for the moment. So that I'm pretending just makes our life easier without writing all the decimals. It did solve out to exactly -1, so this is a z-score of -1. Does that make sense right there? Does everyone understand that I deleted the decimals, and now the standard deviation right here is 4. We're even reviewing notation by looking at this. That the standard deviation is a distance of 4, and the close, Alyssa, 10 points, taking a guess at it. I like that. Alyssa, you're very close. You're very close, Alyssa. Good guess. And so let's look. Who knows who's got it? I think we got here Thomas. Thomas, you got it right. 16. Space Pen is back. And I think it wanted below that. I hope it did, because I am doing less than. If it's greater than, it's 84. I don't want to do my, I want to do my arrow this way. There we go. That's what I wanted the arrow. Okay. So if it were to say above this point right here would be 84%. And if it said below, it would be 16. This is a review of yesterday. Great job, Alyssa, right there. Great job. And so that's why it's 16% right there. I do like to break it down to show it. But remember your inside-outside trick. Remember that right there, the inside-outside trick. And we go back to the question. Does it say less than? It does say less than. It's 16. And here's where people start to get confused. What is the actual percent of times? Now, people were correct. I did not need to actually put it into Jump. I want someone to tell me how many times, first person gets 10 points, how many times are actually less than this? How many times are actually less than this? How many times are actually less than 99.12? How many times are actually? Is it? 2. Neeland, you're right. Neeland is right. Unless I'm looking at this incorrectly, there's only 2 times less than 99.12. Now, we have to do this as a percentage, which means it's 2 out of the 53. So that's the actual amount. It's 3.7 to 1 decimal. Oh, no. What did I do? What did I do? Oh, it rounds up. Oh, my gosh. Brian can't round. Please, once again, tell me. Once again, I want to see some yeses in the chat. Has Brian corrected your work when you make a rounding error like Brian just made? When you make a rounding error like Brian made, Brian has corrected your work. Please email me and say, Brian, I misrounded. Now, I'm not going to give it to you if it's too far off. If you're too far off, I'm not going to give it to you. If you entered in 3%, if you entered in 4, probably 3 or 4%, I'd know you got it, because you're not going to guess 3%. You're not going to guess 4%. If you entered in like 5, 6, 7%, I'm going to be like, you didn't. I'm sorry, you didn't get it. So I will help you out here. We all make mistakes like that. It's just a rounding error. That's the right answer. I know how to solve the question, which is all we're trying to do here. We all make mistakes. Don't worry, even Brian, every once in a while. So think about this. If this is normal, then you would expect about 16%. We didn't see 16%. So who thinks the normal is appropriate? If it is normal, we should see close to 16%. Then 3 out of how many? 3 out of how many, Gracie? 3 out of how many up there? So, yep, you do 3 out of this. Great job, Gracie. I don't think it's normal. So, because the normal model is not appropriate, do the two percentages agree? No. And if they agree, it'll look very similar. Like, if they agree, these two will probably be within about 4 or 5% at most. So, it would be within about 4 or 5%. And if she has 53 numbers, great job. You guys are awesome. Kyle and Alyssa and Gracie, you guys all get the 10 points. Thank you for helping out your fellow classmate. Great job. Gracie, I know you're on max for 20 today, but great job helping each other out. What about if I have a 84 and 90? Hannah, be more. I'm sorry. What do you? I don't. Keep asking. Go into more detail. Select the histogram of the data. Actually, this is where we need jump. So it's probably not going to look like this because it's not normal. So we're going to go back here to jump where we paste it in our data. I'm trying to see. The highest time is 118 basically. So this is probably not right. So we've eliminated, oh wait, and then this graphic's not right. And it should be a little right skew. Well, looking at it visually, I think that's the answer. Well, we got it. How did Brian know this? Because this looks to be the bin going from 120 as best I can estimate to 122. And there's no observations up there. So that eliminates this graphic and this graphic. This one also has a data point here. So I'm actually just doing it by process of elimination. But if you wanted to, if you did bring the data over to jump, which is what I did to begin with, you could go here to analyze. I know I brought jump for a reason. Distribution. Double click the variable right here, and then we can see it, and it is right skew. Now remember, it might look a little different due to bin widths, but this is a right skew distribution. And once again, as I said, and I can change the bottom scale if I want. I think it went from something like, what did it went to, 88? 88 to 122 increments of 2. And it must not have went to 88 because that's way off the graphic. There we go, right there. So if you notice, it shouldn't go to 122 because it'd be way off the graphic. Does that make sense right here? It's a right skew distribution, and I kind of found it out another way, but it kind of looks like this. Those bin widths might be a little bit different. Count the numbers that are less than the number. Alyssa, you are doing an amazing job right there. For the first herd, I had 84% of the time less than... So that one right there, say that is the same. Say that is the same, Hannah. And if it counts you off, just tell me and I'll fix it. Say that... No. Wait. I'm trying to remember how this one works. Tell me if you got it right or wrong, Hannah. It's either going to be... There's only two answers. It either is not good because it's not appropriate, or it is good because it is close because it is appropriate. All they're trying to have you do is look at these two numbers, and they're asking you, are these two numbers similar? And if they are similar, the normal model is kind of appropriate. So don't worry. I don't never put this on a test question. I love this question, except for this one right here, which is a little bit ambiguous. My numbers came out really clear. And so for Camden, say yours is not. Camden, I would say yours are not. That's pretty far apart. If it's more than 5%, say it's not. Hannah, if you can tell us if you got yours right or wrong. So Hannah, tell us. I'm going to say they're not the same. So Hannah, update. It says it was not appropriate. Yeah. So in truth, I'll tell you a secret. I think it always says that it's not appropriate. I've done this one a lot, and I think it always comes out. Now be careful. If it's very close, say that it is appropriate. Like let's say within 5%. That's our reminder for this question. Yours wasn't either. Yep. So if it's less than 5%, we'll say it's appropriate. And that's not how I would do statistics, but it's how I would solve a My Pearson problem. So sometimes we go more for how do we get this problem right every time? Because I have to do these all the time. What can be seen in the histogram? Don't even look at the answers. What can be seen in the histogram? Review question. What can be seen in the histogram? 10 points. Who's got it? Don't look at the answers. What can be seen in the histogram? Don't use the answers yet. What can be seen? Skewed to right. Morgan, you got it right there. Skewed to the right, not normal. It's skewed to the right. We got it. Look at that. We don't need to look at those answers. We know what's going on. What can be seen in this histogram? I want someone to say, it is this. I'll know you're answering this question if you say, it is this. What can be seen in this histogram? You have to say, it is this to get your points. Who's got it? You have to say, it is this. It is what? It is skewed. I'll take that right. Devin was first person. Debbie got the 10 points. It is skewed right there. You got it. 10 points, Devin. So that is skewed to the right also. According to the normal model, what percentage of receivers would you expect to be 2 standard deviations below the mean? So let's go right here. We don't even need to look at the numbers right now. Okay, can anyone tell me if we were to do 90, like we can erase these numbers here. If we were to do a 95% on, I just gave it away. If we were to go out 2 standard deviations, what percent of data is within 2 standard deviations? What percent of data is within 2? Oh, people are already answering. You know the answer. You've already done all the work. You know it. You know how to do this. You practice. Great job. It's a great review. There it is right there. And we're talking about this. So we're talking about 2 standard deviations below. So that is what we would expect right there. And this is according to the normal model. Be careful the way this question is asked. This question is saying according to the normal model. It's not saying this. It's saying if the data is normal. Then the answer we see would be this right here. That's what the normal model states. It's not, don't even look at the data yet. It's 2 standard deviations below the mean, and that's what we would have. So when you think about this, I'm going to round these numbers. Okay, I want you guys to solve this problem, but don't look at the actual number. I want you to use 500 and 400 as your mean and standard deviation. So let me write this in the chat right here. The mean equals to 500, and the standard deviation equals to 400. Now, I want you to go 2 standard deviations below the mean. I want you to tell me what number you find. I want you to use 500 and 400, just rounded versions of these numbers, and go 2 standard deviations below the mean. Go 2 standard deviations below. Negative 300. You've done it. Jack, 10 points again. Nice job, Jack. Negative 300. Does everyone see that is 2 standard deviations below the mean? And what do we see? We see an answer very close to this. Some receivers should gain less than, and that would be the exact 2 standard deviations, but we kind of thought through it a little bit right here. And the negative 300, Josh, you get 10 points for asking that. What we're doing is we're taking the mean of 500, which I stated, and we're subtracting 400, and then we're going another one down. Now, in actuality, if you want to find the actual number, you would take the mean of this. This is the actual mean here, given to us in the problem. We'd subtract 1 standard deviation and subtract a second standard deviation, and that's how that actual number can be obtained. But all you're doing is going 2 standard deviations below. 500 minus 400 is negative 300. If you notice, 500 is up here, there's 100, and then negative 300 is below. My question for part A, Keaton, did I miss something? Yep, you got it. Great job, Claire. I think you're understanding how to do this. 2 standard deviations below, we just subtract it. The answer was 2.3. It might have accepted that, Keaton. Did you put in 2.3 or did it want 2.3? Did you put in 2.3 and it accepted it? Or did it say it's 2.3? Because send me a thing of it, because this one should be 2.5 according to the empirical rule. Because it says according to the 68, 95, 99.7. It might have accepted 2.3 with a margin of error on it. Like you might have put in 2.3 and it might have accepted it. But if it didn't, I put in, I think you might be doing, are you doing this exact same problem? Send me a screenshot of it, because I find that very, don't worry, I'm just like, I don't know why I would say that. Maybe there's a new version of it I haven't seen. So your answer was that too? Now I'm worried. Send me screenshots of this and I'll correct it, or I'll explain what's wrong. I wonder why it would be different. Dun dun dun. I hope they're not changing their problems on me. I've done these ones so many times. So I will fix that for you guys, especially if it's the same thing. Please email me on something like Brian and counting me off. We will fix it. Okay. And then, nice job, Claire. You got it. This is not correct because it's very skewed to the right. C. Oh, you guys might be C. Mine is D. Skewed to the right, so they might change the order on it. We got it. My favorite question. My favorite question of all time. This question stumps everybody. It's not my favorite because it stumps everybody. It's my favorite because I get to guess, and I love guessing stuff. So growing up, we got to guess like gumballs in a jar and jelly beans. You get to win the jelly beans, all that great stuff. I love this question. It's so much fun. Okay. And I didn't get the easiest of numbers. Dang it. Okay. So you ready for a really quick trick on this? You're going to love this, Justin. You're going to love this because this one's going to help so much. So for this question, I'm going to give you guys the biggest tip that'll help, and it'll make this question so much easier. Now, please, 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 with what I'm about to say, realize that I'm going to give you a kind of a quick way of understanding this question that'll get the questions right. This right here is the answer to question 1. It's not literally the answer, but you'll see in a moment. This is question 2, this is question 3, and this is question 4. Did everyone see question 1, question 2, question 3, question 4? Got that? Does that make sense? If you understand that, I'm literally giving this one away. I shouldn't tell you this. But if you go and if you enter in all the numbers you get, like if you go here and enter this into question 1, you will get the right answer. If you enter this into question 2, you'll get the right answer. If you enter these into question 3, you'll get the right answer. If you enter this into question 4, you'll get the right answer. So let's think about what this is showing us. Great question, Claire. You might get pictures like this on the test, but the picture on the test would look a lot more. The picture on the test would look a lot more like that. Who here can tell me, this would be how it might look more on the test. Who here can tell me what percent of area this is? I need to know a very good, it could be multiple choice. 16, nice job, Gracie, you got it. You got it. And so I want us to think about this. So here's another way we could do it on the test. I think the number we got was this. I think our number was 1.3. So I want you to look at this 1.3. And I want you to look at this 1. And then I want you to look at, you got it, nice job, Claire. And then I want you to look at this 2. So you won't have to do weird numbers. But you could have to realize that this 1.3, 1.3. Ah! Full screen. I'll calm down. This 1.3 is in between the area of 1 and 2. So the area of 1.3, first person gets 20 points for this. Neeland, you reading my mind, man. Neeland is right. The area has to be between 16 and 2.5. It has to be less than 16. Just look at that. That's less than 16. And it has to be more than 2.5. So these are the kind of things we could ask. We can use empirical rule numbers. Now, I also know a number. You guys don't know this. I know this number. 1.2816. It's 1.6. And that number right here, above that is 10%. And that's very close to 1.3. So if I scroll down here, it'll say 10%. I'm not cheating. I know this. Look, it says 10%. And so we'll do that here. Saying Thomas, good question. So I know that this area right here has to be a little bit what to 10%? A little bit what? Did you see it? Did you see it? This area right here, here's 10% of the curve. And then here's our question. This has to be what to 10%? Careful, Justin, careful. I'm still giving you the 10 points for that. Here's 10%. Look at that. That's 10%. Now watch. Here's 10%. Now watch the graphic. 10%, our question. A little bit less. Do you see it? You have to watch very closely. A little bit less. So now let's do it. Let's use the knowledge that Brian came up with and solve it in our heads. Oh, it's 0.135, which is even more or less. Just so you can see, this is going to show the right answer visually, not the number yet. But that's it visually, which I could draw. You guys know I can draw this out. So it's even more or less than 10%, but more than 2.5. Okay, here we go. We're going to take a guess at it. We can get this right. Okay, so we know the graphic. The graphic's this one. Boom, got it. And now it's a little bit less than 10%. We're going to go with 8.88%. That's it. That's all you got to do. We got it. Right answer. We were close enough that it gave it to us. It was 8.85%, but we were close enough that we got it. Now, of course, you don't need to guess it, but if you can kind of guess and understand what's going on here, what if it's 1.6? 1.6 would be a little bit more than 5%. That'd be like 5.9, 5.8 I'm going with. My brain said 5.8 first. So this would be like 5. I don't know what I said. 5.5. Did I say 5.5? I think I did. Maybe I did. What if it's 1.9? 1.9 would be a little bit like 3%. Close to 3%. Thomas, what did yours say? Thomas, tell me what your number is. Are you doing part A, Thomas? What if it's... And wait, go to the... Wait. Go to this site. Let me put the site in the chat again. Go to this site. So go to this site. Who here is on this site? On the exam, we would use empirical rule numbers. On the exam, we'll use empirical rule numbers. And Thomas, what's your number again? If it's so, Alyssa asked, what if it's 1.85? 1.85 is going to be a little bit more than this. So it's going to be like 3.8%. 3.2. I was pretty off on that one. Is it making sense? Who feels like this is making sense on this site right here? Is anyone like, okay, I'm starting to, I see how to enter the numbers. Is it if it's 0.75 and above that, that's gonna be more than 16. It's gonna be like 21%, 22%, something. So this is the area above it. Here's your goal. Yeah. So on the exam, we would use numbers you know. Does that make sense, Alyssa? Yeah. So if we were to give you something on the exam, we could ask you just flat out. We could say, what percent of area is above a z-score of -1? This could be an exam question just like this. We might not even give you the graphic. So anyone in the chat, you get maxed on your 20-point Tuesdays. What is the area above a z-score of -1? Who knows that? Who knows that? Now, the site will tell us the answer if we want. We can confirm our work getting the exact. But what is above a z-score of -1? Close. I did a tricky one here, Justin. You're close, Justin. And Tyler, you're close. Above -1. So here's what you want to do. So the biggest thing with your scratch paper, Neeland, you got it. Here we go. Neeland, give someone your points, because I think, Neeland, you're maxed. Give someone your points, Neeland. Your 20-point Tuesdays, you're going to max someone on 20-point Tuesdays. So when I say above a z-score of -1, the first thing you want to do is do a drawing. Great job, Neeland. Little trick right there. I did above on purpose, and you want to shade it. So here's what I asked. Don't worry, I did this on purpose because I knew I'd get some 16s. Look at all the chat. You're awesome, Neeland. Neeland, give it to 2 people. Give 2 people since I love when you do that. I love the people in the chat. So Neeland, you get to pick a second person too. Okay. So I want you to look at this. And when you say that this is 16% right here, so you can't do that. Everyone who said me up to Taylor gets 10 points for just staying. But Neelan maxed out those 2 people. He can't give it to everybody, but everyone who said me gets 10 points for just being here on 20-point Tuesdays. Remember, if you stay for another 10 minutes, you get 10 points for just being here. So don't worry. If you didn't get points today, you still get a bunch of points. So, that is not 16%. That is 16%. That is 16% because between here and here is 68. And then here is 16%. And then above here is 84%. Now, why do we have these applets? I'll show you that one here in a second, Sarah. Good question. We will be that in just a moment. Good question. It means the outside. It's the bottom button. So if you're working on it, the bottom button, it means the outside. It means greater than the absolute value of z. I'll explain more in depth. You got it, Claire. Nice job, Claire. Claire, another 10 points if you're not maxed out. Claire, text one in chat, max one out. Claire, I appreciate you. Love when people answer questions that I haven't gotten to yet. You guys are huge help. Once again, to reiterate, slow down a little bit here, Brian, is that if I were to say above -1, you could go here. Does this graphic up top, does this graphic right here look just like my graphic right here? Do you see this graphic I drew? Does it look like this graphic? It does. So the best thing to do right here is if you really want to practice this, draw your graphic first and then go to the site and find the answer. Draw your graphic, which the question kind of has us do by picking the picture, and then find the answer. So, and then take some guesses at the answer. If you do that, you'll be able to do the test. If you understand how it would be drawn. If you notice, I'll draw a lot of these out when I do them. I'll be like, okay, here's what this should look like. Here's what the area should be, close to 84. And then when I go and do it on the site reports to me basically 84. It gives me a very exact answer. There's one question on the quiz about certain percentiles and the IQRs. You got it, Isaac. We'll do that one next year, I think. Once we do the quiz, we'll do that next. Yep, that'll be down here. Devin, great question, Devin. That'll be that one. So now let's go to the below. I think I wanted below 0.6. I think I saw that. I can draw that. Once again, this is going to help us pick the right answer right here. Is it below? It is below 0.6. Now, this one's a very hard one to guess. So there's below 0.6. Make sure 0.6 is on the positive side. And no taking quiz tonight. Don't forget. I'll probably send reminders on that. So that's the right answer. This one's tricky. This should be a little bit more than what percent? What percent is below 0? What percent is below 0 on the curve? Make sure to stay at the end. We're not done yet. What percent is below 0 on the curve? Can anyone tell me? Who hasn't gotten their points yet? 50, Skylar. Nice job. So this has to be more than 50%. So just have something in your mind. This should be more than 50%. It's going to be a little bit less than 75. This is a very hard guess. This is a very hard one to guess. I get 2 guesses. Too many decimals. That's a very hard one to guess. It's just in this area where there's a lot of area. So below 0.6, the actual answer is, I like guessing these, 72.57. 72.57. 72. I was less than a percentage off. I got really close. I'm very happy with that guess. Will you correct? Don't use the applet. You get 2 guesses for free. But use the applet. You're cracking me up, Thomas. We'll use the applet. You'll get it right. You see, watch. You'll get it right. We got it right. There we go. The applet will get it right. The applet will get it right. Do take guesses and for fun. So wait, if you get it wrong with the applet, then something's wrong. So if you get it wrong with the applet, then there was a mistake. Email me and I'll maybe send you a picture of what it should look like. So email me and I'll check your work and hopefully I'll be like, here's where I think the error is. So if the applet gets it wrong, then it was unfortunately entered in the wrong way because the applet will get it right. I do the guesses for fun because I like to see if I can figure out the outside values. And if you notice, it has to be less than this and greater than this. So that's the outside. Make sure you're shading the outside for these. I know. Whoa. Wait, what did I do? Wait a minute. Oh, it's contained in. Z is between these values. Sorry. Misread the question. Z is not outside. The absolute value is outside. I've done these a lot. It is the third button. So don't worry. I'll be pressing that third button. But Z is greater than this. Like this is less than this. Z is greater than this, but Z is less than this. Sorry about that. That was an error I actually made misreading the question, but it happens. Now this is going to be Brian guessing it. What is between -1 and 1? Like if we were to go here to -1, what would be the area between -1 and 1? Does everyone see right here -1? What would be here if first person gets points? -1 and 1 is going to have how much area? 68. Andrew knows it. Andrew, you get 1,000,000 points, and Devin gets her 20-point Tuesdays. So, yes, it is 68. So this has to be a little what to 68? If we were to take a guess, we'd go more than 68, and it should be... I can figure it out because it's an 80% confidence interval. I can get super close. I think I can get this one by guessing it. I'm just like, I want to get this one. I want to guess this one. If it's an 80%... that means it would have 12% on either side. And that's an extra 6%, but we're a little bit more than that. So it's going to be an extra 7%. So it's going to be like 75% almost on the dot. It's close to that. It's close to 75. It's so close to that. It's close. Okay, let's look at the right answer. If you notice, I said it was like 75%. So if you notice, we're able to kind of estimate this. If I say it's about 75%, I'm pretty accurate. 74.45, and my guess on this one was, I like getting them right. I like guessing them. So if you look at how close I was just a few decimals off on that. But the right answer is right here. It's button number 3. As I pointed out at the start, if you're like, Brian doesn't know how to do this, I promise you, I know how to do this. I swear. I do this all the time. Watch, I was waiting to get it wrong right there. Perfect. So number A right here. This one right here, it's the wrong one. Wait, it is the right one. Cool. My brain's just long day so far. How do you do the absolute value one? It's the outside, because do this right here. Plug in -1. Is -1 greater in absolute value than this? Yes. So we would shade that because we'd shade below that because all the negative values would have an absolute value greater than this. And then all the positive values have an absolute value. So all the values, and this is button number 4, this is going to be a little bit less than 25%. It's going to be more than 16%. Someone give me a guess. I want you guys to guess it. I know it's less than 25 because I know numbers you don't know. But it's more than 16 because 16 is outside of -1 and 1. So does everyone... Ooh. Wait a minute. It's between 50 and 32. Because 32 is outside of -1 and +1. 50 and 32. Between 50 and 32. Who's got a guess for this? Between 50 and 32. Any guesses? I'll break the rules. If your answer is right, I will give you 50 points today. I'm going to go with the 22. So I'm going to go with 22 and 23. You guys got extra credit for that, but if you're right, you get 50 points. I broke the rules just for this. Those are close guesses right here. Wait a minute. No, it's going to be closer in the 30s. It's such a hard one to guess. Andrew might have actually solved it. I'm going to take Andrew's number because Andrew might have solved it. What did I do? I'm losing my mind, everybody. 45.33. Andrew, you cheated. Did someone say it already? Let's see. Isaac might have got the points. I think Isaac was the closest. Yeah, Isaac was the closest. Isaac got it. So, Isaac, you broke the rules. You got the points. And so did Andrew. But if you were to do this in actuality right here, if you notice this last one, we'll go here and we'll put the numbers in. Literally the only thing you need to do to get the answers on this. I want you to know it better than this, but you have to put in the numbers. Here's part A, part B, part C, and part D. So all the numbers line up. Who got this one? Can you show us how to solve the absolute value using the Z table? I don't use I would say I'm gonna say it's Carly's. I hate Z tables. I hate them so much. I'm so sorry, Carly. It's like, I'll explain to you why. I'm gonna explain why. I think the only time people use Z tables, and I'll say the answer too. I have to give you the answer. Oh, it's like the only thing I hate in this world is Z tables. All right, I'll show you how to do it. Man. Oh, no. This is like, it's bringing back so many bad memories right here. Okay. So, I'm going to get in trouble just for showing this right here. If you notice the way this Z table is organized, it's showing the area to the left of these numbers. So this one starts at 0, so you first have to understand how this table's oriented. So you've got the first decimals here. So this one would be very hard to solve with this Z table. This is why this Z table would be very hard to solve it with. This Z table right here, this Z, if he one of these days we're gonna get him to join in. We would have to go to the number. We would have to use our number here, which is 0.75. So we need to go to 0.75 on this, which is going to be right here. And then we would go to right here. Now, this number, 0.7734, is the what? So, Claire, good question. We're going to answer Claire, because some people use Z tables. If you're using it in your discipline, I'll show you how to use it a little bit. What does 0.7734 represent? It's the area what to 0.75. The area of 0.77, you're right. Justin got it right there, and thank you. So now I look at that note in the chat. So 0.7734 is the area to the right of that, to the left of that number, to the left of that number, to the left of it. So I want the area to the right of it. I want to delete that number. I want this, and I want the area to the right of it. So does everyone understand? I've now solved for this area. I've solved for this area up here. Does that make sense? I now have the area above it because I did the area below it. So does this make sense right here? And so now that I have the area above it, I don't want just that area. I don't want just that area. I want 2 times it. So I don't want just this area above it. I want to do 2 times it. And that is the answer right here. So this right here gets the answer. I like the applets because they're visual. That's why I have the preference of doing this. And then if I really want to be super exact, you guys know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go right here. So if I really want to be very exact in my answers, Andrew probably knows this. We want to go to the P norm. I think it's P norm. And this is actually the area below it. This is the area above it. And this is the 2 tails. So if you notice right here, I just did the same work I did in the calculator. But now this is no longer using a table where I have to look up the numbers. And this will display for me the area right here. Can anybody solve? I want you to look at this graphic right here and look at what Brian's doing. Using this graphic, this is not the right graphic, but what do you think Brian's answer will be very close to when I solve this right here? What do you think Brian's answer will be very close to? You get 50 points if you can tell me what this is. Isaac's already on his 50. I'm asking ridiculously hard questions right now, so I can break the system for those. What will this answer be very close to? And the key is that this part right here of my code, can you go back on the quiz, my Pearson, and see what you missed? I can't figure out how. I think you might have to go into my Pearson. Cal, if you can't find it, close, Nicole. Nicole, if no one gets a better answer, Nicole's got the points. Because I actually made that mistake earlier. Nicole, you would be right. Nicole, I'm giving you the 50, the closest. Nicole, you would be right if it's this. This is the area above that. Just to repeat, this is how my code works. This is the area below 1. This is the area above 1. This is the 2 tails. And so, Nicole, you were close enough. You kind of were seeing it because you knew you were right about the z-score of 1, because all I'm putting inside of here is the z-score. So don't worry, you're not supposed to know this, but this is the area outside of -1 and +1. So it's the area on the outside. And so you're not meant to know this. You're meant to use applets. You can use z-tables, but I don't like them. We won't use them on the test. We want you to understand things like the empirical rule. So you should be able to say things like that's close to 32. I do like showing those fun things right there. How can you find a cutoff for... Is that a quiz question? I can do that one next. We have another one from Isaac, I think. So we'll finish off this homework right here, and then we'll do... Thomas, send me the start of that question right there. Send me the start of that question. It's the homework? Oh, I think we're doing it right here, right? Let's do it. You ready, Isaac? Thomas? We got it. Here we go. So this one we need the applet for. Let me put it in the chat again, just in case people need it. Here it is right here, and great job. Make sure to finish these off. Let's finish these. You guys got to stay strong. We're almost done with the homework, and then we're going to do quiz questions right after this. So we have right here the mean and standard deviation need to be input, but I'm going to click this button because these things right here that it gives me, the values right here are what? I want you guys to tell me. It's giving me what's right here, blanks under the curve. These values right here would be certain things under the curve. Who knows what these things are? Areas, Justin, you got 10 points right there. You are right. These would be areas under the curve. Yeah, I'll correct. If you put a percentage or something like that, if it's like a percentage or decimal, you got it. So these are areas. I'll correct that. If it's obvious that you know it, if it's pretty obvious that it's like, yeah, you knew it. Like, if your answer's way off, then I'll be like, no. Which way was those 5 and those 8s? I knew it. I knew it. That's why I said it. And then my brain was focusing on that was a 50. All I'm doing right now is entering in the mean and the standard deviation of 82. And this makes our lives a lot easier. This is why I'm not a big fan of, and I will answer anyone's questions. So if you use a z-table, I'll help you with it, but I hate z-tables. I'm so sorry. I have a rule. If you see a z-table, burn it. Burn it in safely, though. If you see a z-table and you own the book, rip it out of the book and burn it if you want. But I'm not a big fan of z-tables. Gracie, great answer right there. Gracie says, so 10% would be 0.1. You're right. Did my question ask that? Let's find out. My question says, great job, Gracie, the highest 10%. Now, I want people to look at this, and I want you to tell me, does Brian's graphic look to be currently displaying the highest 10%? Does Brian's graphic, you just put it in the app. That's why this app is awesome. Does Brian's graphic look to be displaying the highest 10%? Yes. Now, people say, don't worry, it's a great question. How could you do this on the test? You ready for a test question? Someone gets max 50 points right here because I think it's a test question. I'm breaking the rules. Someone tell me where the highest 16% would be. Imagine the test question said, where is the highest 16%? Someone tell me where's the highest 16%? Who's going to get the max? Claire, you got it. Boom. Claire, you knew it like that because you knew right here is the highest 16% because of the 68, 32, 16 on either side. You got it. People are saying one standard deviation. That's how we solved it. And so the highest 16%, if you were to put this in, would be right there. So we can confirm our answer that we know it. The highest 2.5% would be where? One more person's going to get max. Where's the highest 2.5%? Where is it going to be? Where? Oh, Morgan. I'll give Morgan the points too because... Morgan, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll give it Morgan. Sorry, you get the 50 also. Sorry, sometimes I will say this just for future reference so everyone knows. Sometimes my order of chat is different than your order of chat. That was confirmed a while ago when I was calling first names and people were like, I was first. So I promise you I'm not playing favorites. I could show you pictures just so you can see. Well, then it's like in the video hard. Well, because if anyone ever wants, you can always remove your chats or things like that. So I don't want to hard code something in the video. But I promise you, and it'd be interesting, review the video and maybe you'll see a different thing when you go and rewatch the replay. Or maybe I'll see a different thing. The first person right here was Gracie. Gracie is right with the answer, and you guys are getting it. No worries. Morgan, I'm glad you said that, and I'm glad, like, Morgan, you definitely are in the max on that because I don't want anyone to ever think, like, I said it first and then Brian didn't choose me because someone said, no, I was first in the chat and it happened previously. So I would never want anyone to think that. Yeah. So I'm really glad you pointed that out. It was worth it to give you the points because I don't want you guys thinking that. So here we go. 10%. That's our answer. Grab the answer. Copy paste the answer. Go back to here. Drop in the answer, 1 decimal place. Go down here. Make sure we enter it in the right way. We got it. The lowest 20%. We're going to do the quiz next. You got it. So the lowest 20% right here. Are we good? Are we good? Lowest 20%. Are we good? Are we good? Who thinks? What do you guys think? Lowest 20%. Does that look like the lowest 20? Are we good? Yeah, exactly. Nope. Andrew, you're doing an amazing job, Andrew. Andrew, 201 student, 320 student, probably going to take 474 with us also. Andrew, I've gotten a few students in the class excited about coding. What do you think? We just rounded it. 474 in the summer. That's so exciting. I'm so glad, Andrew, that you're going to be taking the class. Andrew's my eyesight buddy. We're eyesight buddies. He knows what I'm talking about. This one right here is it is below, Devin. You are correct, because it's the lowest 20%. Blind buddies. I like that right there. That is it. We were blind buddies. I like that. And I'm like I've had the 2 eye surgeries. If I had not had the 2 eye surgeries, I might have been more blind. So I've had 2 eye surgeries, one at 2 and one at 12. I don't remember the one at 2. But I'm still, my eyesight's workable now. Awesome, Ben. And so Andrew, just for a quick thing here, this is the answer to the last one. It's in the middle, 40%. Does it ask the IQR or does it ask it wants the 2 numbers? So the 2 numbers are 115. Oh, wow. 1201 and 115. So 115 and 1201. And do we type them in? Good. Ben's been doing a little bit of R. So what do you think about that, Andrew? If you had been using R in 201 and kind of, and you don't have to use R in 201, but if you had been kind of pushing yourself, like, and I've been trying to do this more with students, but what do you think, Andrew? What advice do you have for Ben now that you'll be taking your second course and you just took 320? If you had maybe done a lot of your 201 work in R, like at least just gotten used to it. What do you think about that? And Andrew didn't do that, at least to the best of my knowledge. And I wish I had encouraged Andrew to do that, like, or just shown more. Now I try to do that more for those who want. Would have been super nice, yeah. And don't worry, the amount of students I have in 201 who use R. Does your graphic, Carly, Python? I know Isaac's my Python person, and I hope Dr. Me or Dr. Petrie email back on that. They're both really great. Gracie, what was not Gracie? It was Carly. Make sure your percent here is correct. Make sure you're doing the between. Send me a screenshot. Make sure your numbers are rounded the right way. It wants them rounded to 1 decimal. If your rounding was wrong, just tell me and I'll fix it. Does that make sense, Carly, right there? How are we doing on that, Carly? Is that check all your numbers. If you got the previous ones right, you should have the mean and standard deviation correct. Yeah, don't worry. Don't worry, Carly. I'm glad you said that. Carly getting 50 points. You're cracking me up. So, you guys are, Andrew, you guys are so, man. And remember this, you guys can always come in and say, hey, afterwards. Like, if you're done with this class, you want to ever come into one of our streams and be like, hey, you guys have seen it. It's just kind of cool. I like that students can come in here and say, hey, and be like, hey, Brian, good to see you again. You know, Andrew and all that stuff. Real fast, quiz 6 said I have to do today, but yeah, let me fix that up. Let me fix that, Tyler. I'll be fixing that. No. We can't have that due tonight. But Thursday we might have 2 things due. No, I understand. No, let me fix that because I had to reorient the dates a little bit. Don't expect things to be moved back ever. Like, don't be like, I'm not gonna do this because it's Brian might move it back, which you can always ask. And then I'm always open to revision. And the schedule is pretty like a train. We're just on a bullet train because it's mini term. So, yeah, no, great question. Send me an email reminder, Tyler. Send me an email reminder and definitely the 50 points. You got 50 points right there. I really appreciate it. We did not do chapter 6, so definitely not due tonight. Definitely not due tonight. I had planned for things like that, you never know. Yeah, I did. I have them on a different channel. Ben, email me about that and I'll send them to you. Yeah, let's go do the quiz stuff. And chapter 6 will be due tomorrow night because we didn't do it. The note-taking quiz due tonight is to draw the normal curve and to put all the numbers on it that are associated with it. So if you go back to yesterday's lecture where I drew out the curve, make sure to do that one. And I might even release a video that should really help. I'm going to try to cut that video and send it out as a reminder that goes over all the normal curve numbers. Got to find that video footage and I got to finish making that video. So it's just putting all the numbers on the normal curve. It's drawing a good drawing. So I'm pretty nice on how I grade those things. If I can tell you worked on it, as long as you're not like, here's my work, I drew a curve, it's done. Can you review how to get the percentages for question 3? I'm wrong. Good question. We're going to do Christina's question here, then we're going to hop over to the quiz, so let's do it. Christina, the biggest thing right here when you do these is to have David M. Lane open. So if someone else is stuck on this question right here, you need to have David M. Lane open in your side window. It makes life a lot easier. There's other ways to do it, like with R or with tables, but really, I think the easiest way is to have David M. Lane open. So once again, we're going to remember that we need to have this button clicked right here, and then we need to have z-scores entered in. Now, for some reason, my thing is not updating. Now it's working. If you notice numbers weren't changing, that's just a problem with the site. Sorry about that. Reload the page if something weird like that is happening. We're going to finish the homework a little bit more, and then we're going to hop over to this quiz, part 2, and I will do other things too, even maybe do some correlation at the end of this. Great questions, Morgan. So what we have right here, everything on this curve must be what's right now. Because this is a 0-1 curve, everything on here is what's. This is a 0-1 curve. Every number on here is a what. It's normal. You are right. It's the standard normal. We call this one the standard normal. Like it's a standard. Like everything on here has been put to a standard. Z-scores, Jose, you got it. Jose, you're maxed out. 50 points, what I've been saying. You got it, Jose. Nice job. So these are supposed to be for the really hard questions, but I did it. So those are all Z-scores. So when we look at this question right here, it wants the area above 1.35. That's the same question I just did. Is it going to answer all of them for me? Uncomplete the problem. Oh, I can go to similar question. That's how I can do it. There we go. It wants the area above the area above a z-score of 1.15. 1.15 would be on this side of the curve, and we want the area above it. Does that make sense? Is everyone following along that 1.15 would be on the right side of the curve? When you look at the curve right here, it's on the right side of the curve. And then we want the area above 1.15. And then it makes the graphic for us. And then we go over here and confirm that we've entered in the right graphic, and we check our answer. Now, you can guess. Brian loves guessing these questions because this would be between 16 and 10%, probably close to about 12.45%. And we got it wrong. You get one more free guess. These are our free guesses. And I was wrong again. I lose my free guesses right there. So now you go and you look at the right answer right here because it'll tell you the right answer here, and it's 12.51. Did I say 12.45 was my first guess? And I am doing this correctly because that was really close. Good. Really close. And then when you do the next one, this wants the area below below 1. Now this one you can guess. This one you should get very close to. This is a test question one. Can anyone tell me the area below -1? You'll get maxed out again. Can anyone tell me a guess for the area below -1? Can anyone tell me a guess for the area below -1? You'll get maxed out. First person to take a good guess on this. This is a test question. Be careful. Don't worry. I want you to look at the graphic. Don't worry. Uh-oh, people are saying 16. I want you to look at it. No one's gotten maxed yet. There's one person who's going to get 50 for this. Keaton, nice job, Keaton. You're right. It's 84. Don't worry. When you hear 1, I think sometimes people think 16 instantaneously, but I want you to look at this. Does that area right there look like 84%? Or does that look like, it looks like 84. Does that look like 16 or does that look like 16? Let's go, Stats Nation. You got it right there. And it's 84 because, great question right there, this graphic right here. What is in between -1 and +1? 68. What is outside? 16% on either side. So if you were to add up does that make sense right there? This is a very relevant test question. Great. Thank you guys for asking this. I'm glad. I want this all to make sense. You have to do it like 3 times. It just takes practice. And that's how we were able to guess this. This is a very kind of relevant test question, type 1. Now, I know some numbers you don't know. I know some... It's 15.87. So that's the 87. So it's going to be... I wonder if it would accept 84. It didn't. It's super close to this. It's so close. It's so close to it that because it's 68.26, the numbers you don't see in the background for it is 68.26. That's the additional decimals, if I remember correctly. You don't need to know 68.26. It's 68, 95, 99.7, the area between 1, 2, and 3. But the decimals after them are 68.26, 95.449, and 99.73, just because I do this too much. So what am I going to do right here? I'm going to find the area outside of that. Not that. Here's the area outside of it. Here's half of this. And then 1 minus the half of that is 84.13. And I've seen that number. That's going to be right. And that is the right answer. Now, you don't need to do this. All you need to do is go over here to the applet and go below that right there. So if you notice, this is 84.13 right here. If it says do not round, do you put the integer? You'll put 84.13. You'll put to 2 decimals. 2 decimals on these. Could you do a speed run or evenly just quickly list off a checklist of what include manipulate on the pivot? Yeah, we did that earlier. I think we did that earlier, Neeland. Does that make sense? Did I do that earlier in this? I hate to say this about pivot tables and pivot charts. It's kind of like art. So here's what I would say to include. Always include your chart title, axis titles, and the data being displayed somehow. Like those are your musts. You have 3 musts. Chart title, axis titles, and data tables. Like data somethings, data labels, data tables. Does that make sense, Neil? And does that help out with that? Those are like your 3 musts. If you don't have a chart title, I don't know what the chart's for. If you don't have axis titles, I don't know what your axes are. If you don't have data tables or data labels, it's harder to read your data values. Does that help, Neeland? Yeah. Yeah, no, good question. Because it's kind of like a topic that's so easy. It's almost like, what are we supposed to know? Like, what am I supposed to know right now? And thank you everyone for staying. I know we're past class time, so I try to make sure we do like all the super important, like you need to do this at class time. And then we kind of review and do this right here because we're in office hours time right now, even though I know we start class an hour late. You got to sleep in. I think I saw some people at the start of the video like, wait a minute, why is class not started? If you're like 10 a.m. And who feels like, not that. Who feels like this question here makes good sense now? Because you're just trying to graph the area. This is the between one right here. So we're going to do the between one. It's the between. Z is between these. So you have to go between, like the area between is being graphed. This is somewhere between 5 and 10%. Probably closer to 10% with the extra numbers I know. No. Maybe lower. I can't guess these today. 1 point. Oh my. I don't know how to look at these. If I had just looked at the graphic, I would have seen that my answers are ridiculous. So even Brian doesn't look at the graphic each time and think how ridiculous his answers are. This is between 90 and 95%. I want you to hear the answers I said first was 5 and 10, and now I'm saying 90 and 95. So my answer should have been something like 92.45 or something like that. That's obviously not 5 or 10%. 1.85. And so negative 1.85 and 1.7. And between 92.33. Oh, it's so close. It's not going to take that. I was so close. If I had actually been thinking properly, I would have gotten a really good guess on it. But I made a mistake there. I thought the wrong way on it. I thought it was... I did the outside in my brain because I did the complement, we would call it. I did the outside of it. Because the outside area, if this is 92%, outside of here would be about 8%, which is between 5 and 10, which is what I was estimating. This one I can get. This one I can do in my head. First person to get this one, you can use the applet. First person to get this one gets 50 points. What is the answer for this one? I can do this one in my head because I know the number on this. I can probably get it. Who can tell me the answer for this one? First person to get it. It is a, oh shoot, I asked that. Samantha, or who got that? Nicole. Great job, Nicole. You are right. That answer is A. Who can get this answer right here? Who can get this answer? I'll answer in a second, Camden. Who can get this answer right here? I think Samantha, you are right. Samantha also answered this question, so Samantha did get it. It's going to be very close to 10. Is that 1.645 is a 90%, so it's going to be a little bit less than 10. It might not take this. It's going to be like 9.82. Oh, it did take it. Yeah, it took it. If you wanted to get the exact answer on that one, the exact answer on that one would be outside of, it was 6.5. And this is the exact answer. And what did I say, like 9.8 something? It was close enough that it accepted it. So we were able to kind of decently guess that one. And I knew it because the numbers I know in my head are these numbers right here. I knew this is a... Oh, huh? Wait, what's going on between these numbers? Oh, my gosh. I know a 90% confidence interval. So if you're like, how does Brian know all this? I knew that if 90% is inside of here, about 10% is outside. Does that make sense? How I was able to kind of... This is what I knew in my head. I knew that this is 90%. So if 90% is inside of here, then about 10% is outside. So that's how I'm doing this in my head. If you're like, how is Brian solving these? Well, when I saw 1.65... then I was like, well, I know this because I know a 90% confidence interval. I know things like a 95% confidence interval, a very famous number in statistics. This will be 95% right here. If I click buttons, it will be. I know things, I think I showed you guys this before, like 2.323632. Oh no. 2.3263. That's what my brain is saying. My brain is saying that, but my head's thinking differently. Good, that's what it is. Because it's a 98%. And then 2.5758. Good. 2.5758. Can anyone have a guess? You'll get maxed out. What percent? It's giving a hint. What percent confidence interval would this be right here? I haven't changed the other side. What percent confidence interval would this be? And then we'll do Hannah's question right here. Hannah, we got your question next. We got it. Who can get maxed out on this right here? What percent confidence interval would this be? It's not the answer that's on the screen because I haven't changed it yet. And then we'll do Hannah's question. No one said it yet. What percent confidence interval would this be? It'll be a 99. Because think about this one was a 98, and I'm kind of going out each time. You can see it right here. Last thing I'm going to show, then Hannah's question. You can do it very easily, get the confidence intervals by doing this. You can see a 68% confidence interval is a z-score of 1. A 95% confidence interval is basically 2, but it's 1.96. A 98 goes even further. It's 2.3263. And there's the 3. It doesn't show. And then the 99% confidence interval is 2.5758. It rounds the 5 at the end to a 6 because of the 8. So these are the numbers I know. And I also know like an 80% is 1.2816. You may have saw me use that one earlier, which rounds to a 2 right there. And then the 50% confidence interval, which is the IQR, is 0.6734. I get the last number wrong on that one all the time. I just remember it's almost 2/3. But these numbers help me beyond the empirical rule. The numbers you should know is 68. Just to review then Hannah's question. 68 is going to be very close to what? 68 is very close to what? 68 is very close to what? The middle 68 is very close to what? This is review now. Practice of yesterday. 68 is very close to what? You should be saying it or typing it. First person gets maxed. Who's it going to be? 68 is very close. Isaac, you got it. Boom. 68 is very close to 1. Second person to get maxed. 95 is very close to what? 95 is very close to what? Who's going to get this one? If you're going to learn what I'm going to do next. 95 is very close to what? 2. Oh, no, we got you someone different. William gets max 50. And then last but not least, I was going to say, and then 3. I'm going to take, wait, who was it first? I don't know. Jared, you're 50 points. So that's going to be 3, basically. In truth, that's the last number. There's the fourth decimal place accuracy. But don't remember all those extra decimals. It's 68, 95, 99.7, which represents the area within 1, 2, and 3 standard deviations plus or minus that amount. That's what the empirical rule tells us, the amount of area contained within those certain standard deviations on the normal curve. Hannah's question was, Hannah, we got your question right here. Start dropping your quiz questions in the chat right now. If you're stuck on a quiz question, start dropping them in the chat. Hannah says, use the normal model for steers weighing between these amounts. I'm going to start solving people's quiz questions. So we're going to put in the normal model that Hannah has, and we want the 91st percentile. This is a very important thing. If we want the 91st percentile, does this look like, does the below or the above look like the 91st percentile? Which of these looks like the 91st percentile? Does the below or the above look like the 91st percentile? The below. I want you to think about a test. Would you rather be in the 99th percentile of a test or the first percentile of a test? So now we're looking at a test where the average is an 80 with a standard deviation of 10. And this is the 99th percentile, which is the top of the test. If you were to go here, we're actually showing the what percentile of the test. Brian is displaying the what percentile of the test now. So I'm shading 99% of the curve, but I'm actually shading the what percentile, or I'm showing the what percentile. The first percentile, you're right. Now here's a trickier question. This line right here is at the what percentile. This will help you understand how to use this applet. This line right here, which is at 67, is at the what percentile of people's test scores. You have to use this information right here. Close. I tricked you. What is... You're close. You're very close. Remember what's inside of here. Yep, it would still be below. And Isaac, you're right, it's the 10th. Because this is the 10th and this is the 90th because there's 80% between them. Between the 10th and the 90th, there's 80%. So what I like to do a lot of times, I'm so used to teaching this as a paper test, but we're going to online tests. I'm also learning better how to better orient you guys to doing online tests. But if we were doing this on a paper test, I would insist that you draw on this and say 80% here and do 10 here and 10 here. That makes that the 90th percentile, and that makes that the 10th. Do not be confused that this is close to 90. That's just happens to be. If you want to find the IQR, yep. So Isaac asked a question. There's a question on the homework that says find the IQR. If you want to find the IQR, what would I put into here to find the IQR? Oh, yeah, totally. I'll correct that, Claire. Yep, you got it, Claire. And then it looks like Alyssa has a question. You got it. So Alyssa's, we'll do yours next. On question 1, you got it, Alyssa. So if you want the IQR, you'd put 50% in here, and then you would subtract these two numbers. So this question right here, we would take the IQR by doing the middle 50%, take the big number minus the small number, and there's a trick, though, for the IQR. You can find the IQR by taking your standard deviation, timesing it by 2, and then multiplying it by... And that's the IQR. That should be similar, because I know the z-score for the IQR, but I wouldn't do it that way. Does it make sense, Isaac, to find the IQR? This right here are the numbers for the IQR. Does this tell me if this... but what if it gave you, like, the 30... Oh, well, then you'd find the IQR by doing the middle 50%. Does that make sense, Isaac? To do the IQR... You find the middle 50%, and then you take the distance between this. So does that emoji mean yes? I don't know. Or you could do this. Here's the 75th percentile. Here's the 25th percentile, and you could take their distance right here. So you could take Q3 and subtract from it Q1. So these two numbers right here are the Q3 and Q1. You can get them both by doing the middle 50, though. And you'd get the same thing for the outside 50. The outside 50 and the middle 50 are the same thing. Yep, you'll still do 50th percent. You're right, Isaac, good question right there. It doesn't matter what percentiles it gives you, the IQR is still the middle 50%. So the previous numbers, 36 and 87, are kind of moot. It's a good question. I think Claire had a question. Oh no, Claire, it was Alyssa had a question. The cholesterol levels for adult can be described with a normal model of 193 and a standard deviation of that. Alyssa, what does it... Here, let's bring up that question so we can see it in full. Did you guys get 100 on the homework? Play a little Mario music here. Did you guys get 100 on the homework? Who got those homework hundreds? Who got those homework hundreds? You got those homework hundreds. So, I hope. See what the chat says. I'm wrong. Everyone's like, I got a 0. I'm like, no. I don't want you guys to get zeros. That'll make me sad. I really do feel bad when people get low grades. So yeah, great job. Send me that and I'll correct it. As long as it wasn't really off. I trust you there. We did this one earlier, so this isn't the homework. We're good on that. Alyssa's question was about the weight of adults or something. Let's see right here. Wait, where'd it go? Oh, my gosh. The cholesterol levels of adults. Just going to yawn on stream. That's what I'm going to do. The cholesterol levels of adults. There, look at all these. We got these questions. Wait, that's a repeat. We got that one. We've done who feels very prepared. Isaac was just doing a question like this. Do you guys feel like you can do this question with the David M. Lane? You know what's funny? Oh man, Andrew, we need to bring Red Bull back. I have Red Bull. Am I allowed to drink it? How long after oral surgery can you drink soda again? Because they told me not to drink soda. He told me I could have hard food. He didn't say soda. You don't feel confident about the IQR? Here, I'll solve this one right here. Then we're going to do Alyssa's question. Do you notice how we have the weight of steers? Please tell me, everybody, what does this first number right here mean? I need to know. What is the first... if it gives 2 values, then place the 25th and 75th. It won't be due tonight, Gracie. It won't be due. This is the mean, and this is the standard deviation. Good question, Gracie. Good for Tim Tebow. I'm not that. I can't go that long without a soda. 94th. I'm going to guess all these. I'm going to see how I do. And then I'm going to get the actual answers. 94th percentile is in between the 90th and 95th, which are going to be all the way at 1.28 to 1.645 standard deviations above. So this is like, it's very close to that one. So that's going to be, oh, cool. So 1.5. So this one should be about, this one's super hard to guess, about 150 higher. So 130, 20. And the IQR, I might actually be able to guess this one, is about 4/3. So it's about 135. I got all but one right guessing these. Just so you can understand, I bet it's this one. I'd be shocked if it's not this one. It's that one. I was pretty confident in all of my answers. We just aced it. And we didn't even use the applets. This is why I like to understand how the normal curve works, is because I do not expect you to do that. But I liked that the standard deviation was 100 because that made the math in my head a lot easier. So don't try to do what Brian did there. Here's how you actually solve these questions. How you actually solve these questions is the following. You use the David M. Lane applet, or you teach the class for a decade. So if you want, teach the class for the decade, come back. You're welcome, Morgan. Use the David M. Lane applet, and let's see. We have 1171 and 99. So let's go back here. We're going to put in, go to this side right here because we have areas. We do. And we put in 1171. We put in 99. Cool. Our applet has changed now. Now it wanted first the 48th percentile. Now, how did Brian have a good guess at the 48th percentile? Brian knew the 48th percentile was a little what to the mean. The mean was here, and the 48th percentile was a little bit below it. Does everyone see how Brian made his guess at the 48th percentile? Brian guessed the 48th percentile by being like, it's a little bit less than the mean. Now, Brian knew some numbers that you wouldn't know. Brian had numbers in his head for the 90th percentile is going to be right about there. Now, when I click this, it'll show it. Here's where the 90th percentile is. Let's hope I'm right. It's right about there. I was very close. I also had a guess where the 95th is. I knew the 95th should be right about here at 1.645. So that's about where the 95th is going to be at. If you notice, it's right there. This is what I was thinking in my head. So when it said the 94th, I thought in my head, well, that's a little bit below it. So I said it has to be a little bit below that. Now, this is the answer to the problem, the exact answer. Now, I used my trick also for the, this is what I was solving in my head for the IQR. Here's the IQR. Now, I want to point this out. that the IQR, you subtract these two numbers. Does everyone understand this is Q3? This is Q1. No, once you see it, you know it. Isaac, think about with just doing this, now you're like, you're like, oh, it's so easy. But you weren't saying that 5 minutes ago. But now that you're seeing it, you're like, oh, that's obvious. It's just Q3 minus Q1. This is Q3 right here. This is Q1. You subtract them. That's the IQR. So I knew the trick in my head that all we're doing is taking this, multiplying it by 2, and then we're multiplying it by this right here. Oh my gosh. So the standard deviation is 99. I did some of this math in my head, or close enough math. And then I multiplied that by this. And that's where I got the 133. Did I guess 133 on the dot? Did I really? I was close enough. It was very forgiving, and it's this one's very forgiving, and it's plus or minus. So because of that. Oh, thank you, Isaac and everyone. If I don't make it simple, or if I overcomplicate it, and I don't want anyone ever to think I'm showing off. I like to have fun when I do these quizzes, and I like to guess. And then I like to show people that we can do things in statistics without even the applets. Like, if you understand how these things work well enough. Oh, God, thank you, Camden. That's my goal with that. Not to be like, aha, I'm so smart. I've been teaching it 10 years, a decade. So hopefully I learn some new stuff and get better at it and increase my abilities with it. But the way you should be doing it to start to understand it is to use these applets. But when I say the 48th percentile, I want to hear you guys say it. The 48th percentile, send it to me or show me what's going on, or redo it. Send it to me, Isaac. We'll find out what's going on with that there. So good. Thank you, Brooke. I'm glad it helps. The 48th percentile is a tiny bit below the mean. The 48th percentile is a tiny bit below the mean. We can do multiple choice test questions like this, because if we were to give you questions, why would an answer like 1200 be wrong for the 48th percentile in this graphic? Why, if it was like a multiple choice question, why would 1200 be wrong for the 48th percentile? Like, why would you know that's a horrible answer? It can't be 1200. Why would 1200 be an impossible answer? Opposite side. It's on the wrong side. Because you could find out what percentile 1200 is by going here, and it's going to change the numbers. Please change numbers. Good to change them. And then you would go below 1200. So 1200 is actually, if you look, it's going to be like above the 50th percentile. It's like 60th, 61st. Those are harder to guess. Yeah, IQR getting me today on the cholesterol problem. Yeah, we had another one. I think Alyssa had another one. Please, if I've missed your problem, please put it in the chat. We just did this one. Let's do the cholesterol, because I think that's the one Alyssa wanted. There's IQR. Start putting your questions in the chat. I am so hungry. We got this, though. I get loopier as I get hungry. Cholesterol levels. Here we go. 14. Put the star of the question in the chat, and it will, or maybe it says up there. Put the star of the question, Camden, and I'll get it done for you next. Camden, next one. We got this. Okay. Cool. So this is normally distributed with this following model. We need to make sure it's normal first. 188 and 26. Now, a lot of times when I solve these questions, I go here and I simply enter in both of these applets. So this is kind of my habit, is to enter these both in. You can often make a mistake where you put in the wrong number, though. I've done that. Companies who design, you got it, Erica. And then Camden will get yours too. So now let's look at the problems. One, once you do this, you get the following graphic, which is the answer for what graphic to use. So it has 188, 162, all that good stuff. We go back, 188, 162. So this has to be the answer, because the 26, that is correct, right? That is correct. It has the right mean, just so you can see. It has the right mean, and it has the right standard deviation, 26 being the distance between these. The other ones do not. What percent of adults should you have above 190? Is this giving me a value or an area to start? I want to see it in the chat. And then we got Camden's question next, then Erica's, because we said we'd do Camden's. And then, but good questions, keep them coming. Is that giving me a value or an area right there? This is an important thing to know. Is that giving me a value or an area right here? Is that a value or an area? And we'll fix that, Keaton. Sorry about that. Is that a value or an area? It is a value. That is a value. Nice job, Hannah and Andrew right there. So I love it, Andrew. Good review. And so this is a value. So we need to go over to here, and we need to say area from a value. So we're going to say above 190. Uh-oh, wait a minute. Above 190. And so it should say above. I had below picked, so it did the area below 190. To make it a little bit clearer, these are not being used. The only thing being used right now is this. When you click the button, it changes and interacts with it. So right now, the only thing we're displaying is the area above 190. And we're getting the area from a value, that value being 190, the area above 190, and this is the area being returned right here. So we take this, we copy this. I think it wants it as a percentage, so you need to move your decimal over. So make sure when you do this, if you do get it wrong because of decimal, just tell me, I'll fix it. So that's the answer on this one. What percent of delts have between 160 to 180? You can, and so once again, these are giving us values right here, 160, 180 being the values. You can look, 160 is here, 180 is here. Anyone have a decent guess of this? 180 is closer to here. A little bit less than what percent? Between 160 and 180, a little bit less than what? And I'll give you a hint. Here's your hint. A little bit less than this. I will max you out on extra credit. Your hint is a little bit less than this. This is how I'm doing it in my head when I think about these things, because this is what we actually want to find. I mean, it's a good bit less, but it should be less than that to some degree. Careful. The hint for this one, to guess it in your head, is that it's a little bit less than this. I mean, a good bit. You're getting it. Nicole, nice job. Nicole, you got the max 50 points. It's a little bit less than 50% because 34. 34. It's a little bit less than 34 because if you look at this, you can kind of tell that you can see it. We know the other one's 34 because it's half of 68. And then down here, this is 24% or so. We're going to move them. You got it, Josh. We're going to move those back a day. And then there's going to be we'll probably have a double assignment night. And I'll probably send out reminders, and we will do it all in class. So there's that. Oh, and then IQR. The IQR is the middle 50%, so we do need the other applet for this. Make sure you have the right numbers entered in, and we're doing the middle 50 right here. Here's the IQR. And to get the IQR, does it want the numbers? It does, or wants the IQR. So now we have to take Q3 minus Q1. Can someone tell me what the IQR is? It's the what of the curve. The IQR is the what. What is the IQR? Anyone got any ideas in words what the IQR is? There it is numerically. The IQR is that middle 50%. You got it right there. Great job. The IQR is the middle 50%. Scott, we're maxing you out right there. So 50 points. That's what the super max is. It's a secret max. Stay for the extra credit right here. So we're going to go back to here, drop this in, round to the nearest integer. Oh, wait. What am I doing? That's not the right one. There it is. Round to the nearest integer. Cool. Just got to make sure these decimals are really tough. If you make a mistake on decimals, please tell me. I'll fix it. Above what values are the highest 15%? So that is giving me a value or an area. Is that a value or an area? We have to look at it and say, is that a value or an area? Who knows? Is that a value or an area that's telling me it's giving me that information to start? An area, you're right, Hannah. Great work. So let's go right here. Let's go to area from a value. Wait, value from an area because we have the area. And then we go right here. We put 15 and we don't have it yet. Should my line for this thing right here be on the left or the right for the highest 15%? Pretty obvious. It should be on the right because it's the highest 15%. I think I wanted this one rounded to an integer. So this will go to 215. Please tell me I got them all right. Yes. I was so worried I entered in a decimal or didn't round. So easy to do. I think we said Camden's one was next, then Erica's. Great job putting some questions in the queue. It was Camden's, a particular IQ test. I think I saw that around I bet it was question number 12. Someone told me it's 12. Oh, it was 13. We're so close. What are you doing, brain? We're so close. So this has a mean of 100 and a standard deviation of 20. So when we look at the graphic right here, we should see 100 at the center. This one is wrong. Oh, cool. We'll get it, Camden. Great work, Camden. So you probably figured out this has the wrong mean because that says 120. And then this one, that has everything right. That's incorrect, though. So, and then Jose, we got you next. Erica, then Jose. So 68% right here, 95, 99.7. This one has them out of order. So this is correct. In what interval would you expect? Oh, wait. Look at this. This is, I don't know what that is. What are we using right here? We're using The empirical rule. I'm gonna put those buttons close to me. Are you guys hearing my Zelda music or no? I don't think you guys hear the Zelda music right now, do you? No Zelda music, right? I don't see it on the stream. It's on the other channel. I'll have to add it into this one. Well, one of these days we'll put the Zelda into this screen. So it was playing. Well, you know what?
Has anything changed about the stream now? Is anything changed or no? Is there any change to the stream?
How about now? And we can go over here to this. I could just do it all like we're on a CB radio or something here. Okay, for this, you guys aren't gonna like that. So I got to figure out a way to integrate that stuff. I got to figure out a way to use that stuff. Okay. You guys should come up with some ideas for me. If you're like, hey, Brian, do this, it could be kind of cool. Here, I'll show you guys. We're kind of in the fun moment. I had an idea and I didn't do it yet. I was going to, don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. But here was my plan. You ready? This is my secret plan. I think of ideas on the weekend usually. So my plan was, I don't know why I'm putting my headphones so I can hear it. My plan was this before we do the question right here. I was going to be like, hello? So lame. I was like, how would I use the echo effect? Oh, then you can see my light over there. So I was like, the lighting actually works with this. I kind of matched the lighting, which is what you try to do with a background. So I'm like, what's going on? Where are we? So you guys can tell me. I'm going to try to... Okay, echo's off. Okay, let's go back to the main screen right here. We'll go back. Okay. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll try to figure out a way to work stuff like that in. I don't know. I'm always trying to do stuff. Do it at the start of class tomorrow. We'll do it. We'll do it. We'll do it. We got some other fun stuff we'll do. And I think we'll do a Kahoot on... Maybe we'll do a Kahoot on Wednesday night, tomorrow night. Oh my gosh. So we'll probably do a Kahoot. We'll figure it out. Okay. Let's get serious here. Okay. 68 is between what and what? We look at the graphic. Do a countdown in the radio voice when class starts. I like that. Great idea, Andrew. Good ideas. So it's a lot of fun. The device I got is really cool. So a 68% confidence interval is plus or minus how many standard deviations? A 68% confidence interval is plus or minus how many standard deviations? 68% confidence interval is plus or minus what? Plus or minus 1. You are right, Camden. So we're just going plus or minus 1. And someone figured out a way to talk to me in the future. That's a very good way. If you're behind in the stream, you can always chat, and then it's like I'm talking to you from the past. So, about what percentage of people should have IQ scores above 160? Someone tell me IQ scores above 160 are at a Z-score of what? IQs above 160 are at a Z-score of what? Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, Camden. And you guys got the answer. Camden knows the answer to it. The way Camden got the answer right here is what's between 99, what's between -3 and +3? 99.7. So outside of that is 0.3, and half of that is 0.15. So if you look 99.7 between here, 0.3 total on the outside, so that's 0.15. About what percentages should have IQ scores between 60 and 80? 60 and 80 are between Z-scores of what and what? 60 and 80 are between Z-scores of what and what? 60 is the Z-score of this. 80 is the Z-score of this. Close. I see where you guys have those numbers. I'm gonna draw this out here for everyone. This one's a tougher one. Probably one of the toughest ones on here because it's not a number we usually know. So what I would do is I'd have my drawing right here. I think that's close, Jose. Actually, wait, Jose, I think you're right. Jose, you're right. Sorry. I was getting ready to draw it and thinking it in my head. I think Jose is right. Because, let's double check here. Jose, great job. Sorry, I said I was like close, and I was like, wait a minute, I'm wrong. Because below here, Space Pen is back. How much is the area below here? 16%. And if you look, that's because outside of here is 16% on either side due to 32% remaining. What you doing, Space Pen? Don't quit on me now, Space Pen. Don't quit on me now. We'll make that look amazing right here. There we go. Space Pen is back. And now we go outside of here. And outside of here is 2.5. So you're trying to find the area inside of this region right here. Shade in what you're trying to find. So does that make sense right there? Why does everyone see that it's not the total area below here, which would be 16. Like this area right here is 16. But I'm subtracting off what you got it. Does that make sense? Here's 16% shaded in, and I'm subtracting off the 2.5. Does that make sense visually? I think there's a great visual way to show it. Here is the 16% total shaded in, and then we're subtracting off that 2.5 to just get the 13.5. So how much is this area worth right here? The answer to the question is this is 13.5% between this area. And just practicing and maybe seeing this visually will help. Why wouldn't you subtract the 0.15 though? Ah, yes, great question. Because the 0.15 is also part of the 2.5. So the 0.15, and the way the arrows are is they go all the way over, they go all the way out, all the way. My accent right there. All the way. So, yeah. So that's why this area right here, look at what I've shaded, and the area Brian has shaded, I purposely am shading over there. Well, let me do it this way, because it'll be cool if I do it this way. Okay, I got that, and then I've got this. Okay, the area Brian has shaded right now is what total? And that thing goes out to infinity technically. What is Brian shaded right here? What is Brian shaded right here? 2.5. What is Brian shaded now? What is Brian shaded now? I subtracted off that area. So what am I shading right now? 2.35. You got it. So that makes this area right here 2.35. This is 0.15. And then what is, I'm going to have to do this in two parts. Don't answer yet, because I can do the reverse thing if I do this. Okay. I think I'm finding new ways to use my pen and applet for this. Okay. So what has Brian shaded right now? What percent of area has Brian shaded now? What percent of area is this? 68. Then what's half of that? Half of that would be 34. And then the numbers repeat. Then you just do the law of symmetry. Just go back down the other side. That's a 3 if you can't tell. Make it look a lot better here. And guess what we just did? Do you know what Brian just completed that's due tonight? This is your note-taking quiz. This is the whole note-taking quiz right here. Technically, we could add one more thing to this, but we just did the whole note-taking quiz. So this is the whole note-taking quiz. Let's move it down a little bit. Really, I want to move this graphic down. Will that work? Cool. Let's try it. Nope. Darn. It doesn't do it. Select everything. Oh, cool. I got it. Okay. You can, the more you write on this, it gets overcomplicated, but you could put things below here, like this is the 0.15 percentile. This is the 2.5 percentile. This is the 16th percentile. What percentile is 0? What percentile on the curve is 0? And I think, yeah, Andrew, Camden, you're right. What percentile of the curve is 0? It's the 50th percentile. You got it. That's the 50th. This is the 84th percentile. This is the 97.5th percentile. And this is the, my brain's breaking, 99.85th percentile. So I just put all the percentiles on the curve too. This is kind of your super, mega, ultra, got everything done. I'm going to do something super nice. If you are here watching this, you can screenshot this. And I will accept this as your note-taking quiz to take a little bit of work off of you tonight. So you can screenshot this right now. You need to know this. You need to practice it. You need to understand how these numbers are found. You're welcome, Isaac. I appreciate people staying. Yeah, you guys are like, so I appreciate your guys' hard work, and I try to reward it as much as I can. Don't screenshot it yet. My handwriting's horrible. That still looks like a 6. I'm trying. I've never learned how to write. So oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Isaac. Stats should be fun. Stats should be enjoyable. So if you can read my handwriting. I know I'm so hungry. So hungry. Just like, cookout. If I wasn't on quarantine, I'd get my cookout. One of these days, once we have like 2 weeks of good numbers, I might eat out somewhere. I need 2 weeks of strong numbers. We had good numbers this weekend. Oh yeah. Oh no, I'm so sorry to hear that, Camden. You can correct me. Then I learn. You correct me and I learn. That's the way it goes. So that graphic I drew right there has all the answers on it for all of these. 60 to 80 is 13.5 as long as my brain didn't jump around. What percent above 140? My brain turns that into a z-score. It says it's a z-score of 2, 95% between, 5% outside, 2.5 above, 2.5. We got it. We check our answers. Did we get one wrong? We didn't. We're on a roll today. I think we saw other questions. So wait, did you say moving 6 back? Yeah, we're going to move 6 back. 6 will be due tomorrow night. We do cover stuff sometimes the day we do it. I think, do we do Jose and Erica's question? I'm scrolling back through the chat. I remember Jose and Erica had a question. Like that's in my brain right now. Did we get Erica's? Because this was Camden's. So, and then we'll do Jose's. Companies who design furniture for elementary schools. Cool. And then Jose's, yours is, let me try to put it in my brain. The mathematics section on a standardized. Okay, standardized test. Okay. Furniture. Cool. Thank you, Jose. Thank you for putting in the chat again. We'll do it after Erica's right here. Up. Wait, that's rivets. Rivet. And that's using empirical. That one looks tricky. IQ scores. Where are you? A company that designs. Wait, no, the first 2 questions we did. A company who designs. Thank you, Alyssa. Awesome. And once again, I realize that there's a lot of work in this class, but I always want to, as you guys know, respect your guys' time. And so I know I do get sidetracked. It's the only complaint I usually see in reviews. Like, he's so sidetracked. But I want to have fun. I want to enjoy our time in here. I don't want to be too serious all the time. We get serious. You guys know I take that breath. Oh, he's about to start working the problem here. Oh, here it goes. We got 39.2 is the mean, and the standard deviation is 1.9. Okay, so I'm going to go to the applet and put these numbers in right away. So 39.2 and 1.9, I think that's what my brain is telling me. 39.2 and 1.9. I'm going to put them in both places just because it might have me use both of these. 39.2 and 1.9. Isaac, you are leading the way. Great job. I want to see how many points Isaac has. Concise, I agree. And so now we take a look at this right here. Please tell me it's still working. Andrew, you're going to be shocked by these point values. Streamlabs better. Yeah, look at that. How are you doing, Andrew? Andrew's been in a bunch of streams, but man, this is our first. We've just finished a week. Let's see how many. Andrew, look at that, Andrew. Look at and Andrew, we didn't have Streamlabs running when you were doing it online, but now we have Streamlabs, and so their points are mainly tracked by this. So we got people over 1,000, and you guys are kind of setting the pace for what it'll be. So great job, Andrew. Isaac, you've already reached your thing. I know. And so now we have, is this a value or an area? Is it giving me a value for kindergartners' heights or an area? Nice job, William. So is this giving me a value or an area right here? I know. It's going to be crazy. Is that a value of their heights or an area of their heights? 37. I want to find out less than 37. So is that a value or an area? I know William is that a value or an area? Any ideas? Wow, no one knows. I've stumped everybody. It's a value. Don't worry. It's a value because that's a value of their height. An area will usually be as a percentage. This one is giving me an area and I'll have to find the values for it. This one is giving me a value and I have to find the area. Does that make sense? Like this is going to be area from a value because this is the value of their heights and I will find the area. Does that make sense? This one gives me an area and I have to find the values right here. Does that make sense when I say value? It's like this is the value of their height. This is what their height is. And then this is the area or percentage. Area and percentage are kind of used synonymously right here. So now we know that we have a value of 37 and we want to do less than that. It makes it a little bit easier when we go back here. We go to area from a value because we're going to input the value and get the area. And then we go to below 37, just so you can see these other numbers are not being used right here. We're seeing below 37 and we had it. Yeah, no, it just takes practice. I love when people are like, oh, that's what that means. That's the great answers I see. Here's our answer right here. 12.35. Sure. So 12.4. If you get off by a decimal, just tell me. The middle 90%. So this one is giving me an area right here. So since I have an area and I want the values, the middle 90. Now this is not the middle 90. This line right here is at the what percentile review question time. Someone gets max credit, which is 50 today. The 20-point Tuesdays were 20 points, but I'm doing a little bonus here at the end. Mary, you can only get up to 50 max, but that's the what percentile. Jack, send me that and tell me what you misread. I might give you the points back. Send me that, Jack, or practice it again if you want. It's never bad to repractice these. But that's the what percentile. Who's got the max for this? That's the what percentile. That's the what percentile right there. What percentile is that? Any ideas? This is not the answer to the question. That's the what percentile right there. I've stumped everybody. It's not the 90th. I know, don't worry. Jack, you were the only person who responded. Jack, you get max extra credit. You get the 50. So it's the 10th percentile because the percentiles go from left to right. So you see how 90% is being shaded right here? If we go back and look at our graphic with the percentiles at the bottom, you can see the percentiles I wrote down here in the red go from left to right. So it's the 10th percentile. The 90th percentile would be over here somewhere. The 90th percentile is right in here. That's where the 90th is at. It might not look like the 90th is there, but it is. It's right about there, and I'll show you. We'll go back to the graphic right here, and I'll flip it. And the 90th is right there. So the 90th is at a z-score of 1.2816. Gosh, I keep forgetting it. I'm always afraid when I say the last decimal on it. I need to know the last decimal. I need to know it to 4 decimals. It's 10th year of teaching the class. Gotta know these things. It wants the middle 90, though, so there's the middle 90. This is the answer to the question now. The middle 90 would go between these values, so we just put them in our head, hopefully. The values are 36 and 42, and 36.1, 42.1, 42.4, 36.1, and 42.3. I'm going to say those are right. If I get them wrong, I just miscopied them. How tall are the biggest 10% of kindergartners? So actually, we got the answer because we can do it this way. This is the tallest 10%. The tallest 10% are the 90th percentile. So the answer is 41.63. We could also find it the following way. That's the same answer we just saw. We could also find it the following way. So this answer right here is the right answer because there's 80% inside and 10%. Just so you can see there's a lot of ways to get answers on this. Understanding what this is showing you is very important, that this is the middle 80%. So that's the 90th percentile, that's the 10th percentile. I would not do this. I would usually do the problem like this. That's the tallest 10%, which is still the 90th percentile. Even though this says 10% right here, this is the 90th percentile of heights. Does that make sense to everybody? Although I have 10% written in there, this is the 90th percentile because percentiles go from left to right. The higher portion of the curve, the side all the way over there, is the higher percentiles. The lower percentiles are on the left side of the curve. The lower is the left side, lower percentiles. So we have this right here. We copied the answer for 41.63. Hopefully I didn't mistype an answer. 41.6. Oof. Is that right? Middle 90%. Yeah, that should be right. Took answers. We got it. Good to go. And then there was another one, Jose's question. Thank you for repeating it, Jose. Jose's question was the mathematics section of a standardized test. The mathematics section. So we've done this one. We did it in the homework. We did this one in the homework. We did this one on the homework. We did this one on the homework. This one's a repeat. Brian, that one's that's a repeat. That one's a repeat. We did that one. This one is very similar to other ones. We can do that one if someone wants. There's IQs. We do one very similar. Aha. Okay, here we go. So here we are. Let's do this. Use the median when data is skewed. That is correct. Could You could try that, Andrew. Keep sending me these ideas. I always want to do something fun and special every class. Like every class, I want to do something new and unique. Andrew, I'm gonna show Andrew something real quick before we do this question. I made this new, and I like it so much. Sorry, the screens don't look right here, but check this screen out. You ready, Andrew? It's a new screen. I love that, dude. This thing just makes me smile. It's my like moment right there. So that's my. So I like doing those animation things. Learning how to use After Effects and stuff like that. So that's what I do on my weekends. I'm like, I'm just gonna make things. Okay, so here we go, Jose. You ready? So we have right here the mathematics section of a standardized college entrance exam had a mean of 19.1, a standard deviation of this. Tell Brian where he should go. I need some help, guys. I need lots of help. Where should I go? What site should I use? What site should Brian use to solve this problem right here? Any ideas? Any ideas? The applet, you got it, Camden. You're right on track. Nice job, Camden, right there. You got Max right there. Great answer. So let's do this right here. Let's go and bring up the applet. I'm going to drop it in here. Now, I want you to notice, nice job. Great job right there in the chat. People putting it in the chat. They know where to go. So all of these questions, every one of these questions wants me to solve for a what from a what. Every single one of these questions wants me to solve for a what from a what. Every one of these questions wants me to solve for a what from a what. We're solving for a blank from a blank. The possible answers are value from an area from a value. What does this look like? It looks like we're solving for the area, which is a percentage, from the score. You got it. So this is going to be an area from a value. Now it's 19.1 and 55.9. 19.1. So we need area from a value. Oh, yeah. There we go right there. Area from a value, because we're going to get the areas out of this. This will report to us an area under the curve. And then we put in the values. Let's go ahead and start solving. We go right here. Over 32. I need coffee, guys. Over 32 is 1.44. And 2 decimals, 1.44. Under 12, let's take a guess at this one. Let's take a guess. Under 12 is about 1.5 standard deviations below. Does everyone see? I'm looking right here. This is 6. It's about 1.2 standard deviations below. So under 12 is like 12%. It's going to be like 12%. It's a guess. It's a guess. It's going to be like 12%. No, wait a minute. Yeah, I'm going to keep to 12%. That'll be funny. Yeah, it's about 12%. So, close enough. I mean, it was a good guess. It wouldn't have given me the answer, but it's close enough guess that, if I say it's about 12%, I'm kind of right just by guessing. Once again, and that's weird. Look at the numbers. Look at this photograph. That's what we say. Old memes. So, I need I wonder if I get copyright if I start using that. So there's the answer. Oh, it does round up to 1.44. So let's be careful here. I don't know how picky this one is. Some of them are more picky than others. And then this is between 12 and 32. Okay, so they're doing a trick on this last one. This last one can be solved out. Max extra credit if someone can figure out the equation mathematically to solve this one. This one can be solved out. I'm going to break all the rules right here and give someone 100 points if you can tell me the area between those scores. Without, you might have used the applet. 100 points. This is ridiculous. But this one can be solved out with the answers you just obtained. And I think that's obviously why they're asking it this way. You can use the applet. And I'm solving it in my head right now. So 12.88. Rewind the tape and think what Brian's doing. Don't integrate it. No, Isaac. Camden, you're right. I need the answer, though. Camden and Isaac, you're both right. You can use the Gaussian curve. Gauss. And then Erica will do that one next. You got it. You guys are right. I just need the answer. And I'm trying to think of it as I'm solving it. It's 12. Okay, I got it in my head. I think I know it. I think I know it. As long as I've done the other ones correctly. No one's going to say it. Oh, no, I want to give the 100 points. If you're following along, Someone get 100 points. These are crazy things. We're nearing the end of office hours, but oh, they are so small. No, I'll explain how I got it once I do it. I might have to do the answer. The answer should be that. Oh, you're on the right track, Camden. So I'll explain why it's this. Okay, why is it this answer? I want you to look at the answer you just gave and think about how your answer and my answer are similar. What we did here, and we can see it graphically, is the first question wanted the area above this. The second area wanted the area below this. The last question here wants the area between these numbers. And just look at it. Do you see that the area above here and the area below here? We'd subtract them both from 100. So the answer of 12.8, yeah, there you go. Yeah, I think the visuals help a lot because this is where the area of 0.144 comes from. This is where the area of 1.44 of 11.44. Now, if you do the area outside of it, you will get the answer everyone just put in the chat. Great job right there. Camden and Brooke, you got the 50. I'm splitting it between you guys. I was hoping someone would get the pure 100, but still, 50 is worth it. And you still get points for being here and chatting. So you'll notice that this is the area outside. So I had to add up the two numbers, and then I had to subtract them from 100 to get the area inside. Does that make sense? So that's why I kind of gave those orders of numbers. So I think it's making sense to people. Has anyone gotten 100 on the quiz? Who's gotten hundreds on the quiz? Anybody? We're going to do a large philanthropic organization right here. So you're welcome, Brooke. Great job. Did you get 100? Love seeing those hundreds. Not yet. You got this. You got this. If you can do this quiz, you can do any quiz in the class. If you can do this quiz today, you can do every quiz. Remember that. These are some of the toughest ones. If you got 100, I want you to be like, I got 100 on that normal curve quiz. This is where I'll see the class average drop from like 90s and 80s to like a 70. And I'll be like, every semester it drops. So this is the one where I see it. I watch grades all the time. From my question 1 on this quiz, I was off in all my values surrounding. Yeah. Email me, William. As long as you're close enough, I'll give you the answers. If you're super off, I'm not gonna give it. But like people will email me, they'll be like, Brian, I was so close. I'll be like, you were off by 1 million. And they're like, oh yeah. Like, a large philanthropic organization. Let's do this. It's funny. I check it. I hover over it and I look how close you were. I mean, 99% of the time people email me and they were close enough. But then someone emails me and their answer is like way off, and I'm like, you need to rework this. You need to understand a little bit more. So don't worry. I mean, always give it a shot. I mean, if you're worried, like, am I close enough? It's fine. I mean, I might just be like, oh, you were close, but you need to get closer. Okay, a large philanthropic organization. During the summer, I could reach way off my screen, but my green screen only goes to there. It was kind of fun having that, but I got a better, tighter green screen with this, and I wasn't really utilizing I could point off the screen more. I could actually reach over there. So hopefully I build the green screen with a wall in Texas. Andrew knows about Texas. Okay, here we go with this question. A large philanthropic organization records... Oh, that doesn't look normal. Records on people who have contributed to their case. The organization buys demographic data on neighborhoods, a histogram. Summary statistics for the percentiles of whites in the neighborhoods of 500 donors are shown to the right. Complete parts A through E. Okay. Count is how many observations we have. Mean is the average of all these values. Median is the center, and this is skewed left, so the mean is lower than the median. The standard deviation is a measure of spread, which is not the correct measure of spread because we have skewed data. The IQR is the correct measure of spread, as is the median the correct measure of center. The Q1 and Q3 give us the IQR, which is 13. Let's see what it wants to know from this. Which is a better summary of the percentages of the white residents, the mean or the median? The median is better because the data is extremely skewed to the left. It could have just said skewed, but skewed to the left, more exact. Which is the better summary of the spread? It's definitely the IQR, as you were saying, because of the skewed to the left. For a normal model, what percentages of neighborhoods should have a percentage of white residents within 1 standard deviation? So it's talking about within 1 standard deviation. So when you hear 1 standard deviation, what number on the empirical rule do you hear? When you hear 1 standard deviation, what number on the empirical rule do you hear? When you hear 1 standard deviation, what number do you hear in your head? When you hear 1 standard deviation, what number do you hear? Should hear 68. 68. What percentage of neighborhoods have a percentage one standard deviation within one standard deviation of the mean? So this one's a little tricky. Can we copy the data? No, it's just the summary statistics. Okay. So this one I think is where people have trouble. Like this is, and I think I'll get it right, but this one's trickier. I wish I had the data because then I could actually just find out the answer. So a standard deviation is about 20 and the mean is at 82. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here and I'm going to remember 82 and 20. So if this model was normally distributed, it's not. The model normal with a mean of 80, 82, and standard deviation of 20. That's a nicer round on the numbers. That means the mean would be about, there's 75 right. Oh, I really don't like how it does this number line. That's 75. That's 100. My Pearson, I'm really not liking this problem right here. I don't know why I would shift those numbers over. Because this would be 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. Okay, that makes sense. So this goes right here. And we go up. And then this would go above 100. So this would be one standard deviation up this way. Because that's the plus or minus 20. And then since we're at 82, we need to go below 75. So that's 75. That's 70. Oh, wait a minute. Oh my gosh. No, it's 82. Let me just think. No, that's in the wrong spot. That's in the wrong spot. That's why it didn't look right visually. This is 80 because this is 75. This is then right here 82. And that should be where 102 is. 102 is basically one standard deviation above. This is a distance of 20 we're going above. And that's why it didn't look right visually. 75. 75. 70. 65. 60 and then 2. So that's a distance of 20 going down all the way to 62 to 102. Does this make sense right here, what I've drawn? Brian is trying to find the area within what? The amount of area on this curve within what? Brian is trying to find the area within one standard deviation on this curve. And it doesn't look right because you'll notice that up here, we don't even have data out here because this is not a normally distributed data. So this is not the proper way to talk about this data with these summary statistics and everything. So does this look like a very small or large portion I've shaded in with Space Pen? Awesome, Space Pen. It looks like a very large portion right here. So the answers that are impossible are this one. That's definitely not because I shaded a ton of it. It definitely looked to be more than 65 to 70, and I would say it looked more than this. I'm going to say it's this. These are the only two I'm afraid of right here. I wish I had the data because then I could get the answer from the data. I think it looks like a lot of the curve. Let's look at the graphic again. And is it reasonable to believe that this is something like 88%? Let's put the two possibilities in here. It's either 88%. I'm not saying it is, but I'm putting in numbers between. And then draw it out. That's your number one way to get this one right. If it's the other one, I'll probably give you credit for it. If you're close enough. On a test, see, here's the thing. Does this area that I've shaded look like 88 or 78% of the curve shaded? Which of those seems more plausible? That Brian has shaded in 88% of the green blocks, like not like the number of blocks, but the area underneath the green blocks. Which of those seems more plausible? 88% of it's been shaded in, as in the remaining not portion shaded in is this over here. I shouldn't do that in that color. I'll shade in the other portion. There's the other portion. So this would have to be something like 22% or 12%. So you have to ask yourself, which of these answers seems more plausible? Answer A or answer B? And I think it's not plausible that that portion that I've shaded with yellow is 22%. Answer A seems a lot more plausible here. So I'm going to go with this being 88% on the right and 12%. It might even be a little bit less. I would say even 12% looks a little bit large for that. But since it's the smallest one, it makes most logical sense to me. So we'll see if my Pearson likes my answer, because that's my answer. Explain the problem with using the data. It's skewed. Skewed left. We're skewed left. There we go. Do we get it all right? Please tell me we got it all right. Come on, my Pearson. You can do this. You got it. We got this. You got it. I don't know why I doubt my Pearson. I don't doubt myself. I doubt my Pearson. Sorry, my Pearson. So, was there another one? I thought there was another question. We got time for another one. Let's do it. Was there another one? We did a large philanthropic organization. We've done a lot of these. We've done maybe, if not all, but most, and we've done the different types of problems. Anyone else got hundreds or any other questions? Because we've done pretty much every unique type of question that you can get, like the different versions of things. Like this one right here is giving you values and you get the area. So you need to have value from an area selected. You'll put in the mean distribution. You got a 95. Oh, show me what you got wrong. We'll see if we can fix that up. But Camden, you got a 95, where the class average during the semester for this is, I've seen it in the 60s. So you just got a 95 on something I see people get. The class as a whole gets an average in the 60s, which means some people aren't even getting a 60. So you got a great grade, but give it another shot if you want. It was 94? It must have said 2 standard deviations, then it would be 95. Did you do 2 standard deviations on yours? Yeah. Don't worry, when you say 94, I'm like, 94? If you guys can't tell, I know the 68, 95, 99.7. Camden, you stayed till the end. Is that the only one you missed, Camden? Just send me, say, hey, as a reminder, Brian, fix that one up for me. We talked about it. I appreciate you staying. No, we got you. You stayed till the end. I appreciate it. So I don't mind these little fixes. I want you guys working hard. And here's what I want you to do, Camden. Here's what I want you to do for me. I don't mind if you take it one more time and take it a little bit quickly. But if you can, I want you to take the quiz one more time. Try to take it in like 10, 15 minutes. But if you can do that for me, take it one more time. It only takes your highest grade. So if you make an 80 or you make a 90, but it'll be good practice. So if you can take it one more time, just be like, I'll just take it one more time. Even if you do the homework one more time or something like that, do it one more time. See if you get that 100. And maybe when you email me, you'll be like, hey, Brian, I got that 100. But still, I got you here. Also, I need to include a screenshot of the problem with the rounding errors. Yeah, just throw me a screenshot. That really helps when you're like, hey, here's this thing, Command-Shift 4, or all that stuff. You're welcome, Brooke. We had some fun today. Office hours are a lot more loose, a lot more just chilling out, having fun. We saw some cool stuff that Brian's working with. It's on my other screen. I have I'm gonna do some testing here. Feel free to ask questions. You're welcome, Camden. Thank you guys so much for staying. Mega Mondays is on right now. I didn't click my extra credit button today. I gotta start using my buttons. This has to be like this. I don't know why the screen wouldn't size up properly. I couldn't get it sized the way I want it. So let me see right here. You guys should hear. Yeah, I can see it on the screen. Welcome to class, everyone. Here we go. Playing some Mario. Just start class tomorrow next time like this. I know, we came up with Tuesday today. Let's see. What's this voice?
How does this... Oh my gosh. I don't like this voice. I can change them. This is gonna turn the echo way up. There's a reverb button. So this is the reverb. There we go. The reverb is all the way down. This might be like robot or something. Here's another.
Here's this one. Says the voice changer here.
And then here's, wow, this one just sounds obnoxious. So the two I kind of like are we've got the echo, we've got the radio voice, and then we've
got this one right here, which just makes me sound scary.
I've got other buttons too. It's really cool. I think I showed it earlier. This is the thing that I'm using right here. Let me go to the other screen. So, oh no, I'm so sorry, Camden. I'm so sorry. This is where this is when I play the Mario music. If you notice, I color. It's so cool because I get to color code it, and you can actually see me readjusting the noise. Like you can see me adjust my volume right here, and then I've got plugged in so I can hear what you guys are hearing. But one of the big things with this audio mixer, this is my last little bit of fun. We're done with class, unless someone has a question. But it's got like I can mute myself. I can do a bunch of other stuff, but it actually does like fine mixing of the audio. So I just got to make sure you can see like when I press that button, you can see the button right there. And you see this is all connected to my voice. That's why I have it shaded with the purple right there. So I know the color coding. I'm trying to get some music, and that'll be from the system audio right here. So that's the system audio. And then this is the Mario stuff. You can see that it doesn't show that Mario's playing, but you can't hear it on this screen either. But that's connected into the Mario music. And then if we do a Zoom call, this is the Zoom right here. So that's the Zoom. And I can like mute these things. Like I can mute all of these. So I can mute my, there's me muted. And then I like the color coding. It's like nice and easy to see what's going on. So I can easily look over at it and I can see like if I'm muted. So I can mute myself just, and I can also see my audio levels really quick. And then also, I think the biggest thing, somebody like, why do you have just something with buttons? The biggest thing, and this is Andrew's first time seeing it, is the mixer part of it, especially the microphone. This is the really cool part of it. Oh yeah, Andrew, I'm so sorry. Andrew, I'm so sorry, my blind buddy. I forgot. But this down here, if you look at this threshold right here, if I talk too loud, Andrew, look, I'm gonna try this. I don't want to do it. My neighbors will get mad at me. But when I talk too loud, it'll actually reduce the volume of my voice by a 4-to-1 ratio. So this right here is a compressor that when I get too loud, and if someone has headphones in, if I go above a certain range of volumes, it'll lower my volume 4-to-1. So it'd be really hard for me unless I was literally just shouting as loud as I could. But then still the shouting would get over the threshold of how high I want to go would get lowered by the 4-to-1 ratio. And so it's actually processing my audio. So it's not just that this thing is cool and has lights. It's actually an audio processor that's doing the adjustments to my audio to make it sound very good. De-esser is taking off like my like S's, so it doesn't make them as sharp. Apparently, that's what the de-esser does. And then you see the equalizer here. It's all the ranges in my voice. So I've lowered the very, very low end of my voice, like the complete. I wonder what would happen if I put that all the way up and put these all the way down. I'd sound very weird. But I raised up the highs in my voice a little bit, like the higher elements of my voice. And this was like the guy suggested when I was watching a video on how to get this audit like best tuned up for my voice. And there's the gate. The gate is depending on like if I had my air conditioner on. If you notice, if I'm completely quiet, like if I go, you should hear nothing on the stream. That's because I've got the gate on the audio, so that way you're not going to hear like a little bit of like background fuzz. And I shouldn't have that either because we've got a really good microphone and a cloud everything, so it's all good. But getting this all organized right here and getting this done was pretty cool, and I really like. I don't know. I want the audio to be as best as possible because that's a main component of the class. I can't remember what the attack is. I don't know. Max up gain. Oh, that's cool. So it'll put it to the threshold, and the maximum it'll raise it. I guess that's what that means is max up gain. Yeah, you could definitely. You see, whenever you do a voice right here, you can like adjust the knobs right here. You can see I'm adjusting. Well, that's the I can't remember. So you can adjust these different knobs right here. So yeah, it's pretty fun like to play around with that stuff. Immediately I started playing around with those things. Then I started to get more in depth, like using the different. You got routing, got all these different options. This took like over the course of 1 week, and I spent how many hours? I don't know. Countless hours going in, fine-tuning settings, choosing how I wanted this to look. Like there's a very, very organized look to it, so I know how to do things quickly and easily. So yeah. And thank you to UT and Haslam who have paid for me to have this cool tech that hopefully, it's really nice. And I bought 2 things on my own. This green screen behind me I bought on my own. So because green screens were selling out, Andrew, and they might be still sold out. Green screens are like they're massively sold out. Like last I checked. Let me go check again. last I checked. This is just Brian relaxing, talking to. Let's go here. Let's look at Amazon. Elgato, green screen. A lot of tech stuff, due to everybody wanting to buy stuff. Yeah, I think it's sold out. This is one I have. Yeah, it's sold out. Let's show a screenshot of this just so you can see. What are you doing? Don't do that. It says in stock May 30th. So that's the end of this month. But yeah. Say like you bought this item. It's sold out till the end of the month. Maybe not even then, who knows. But yeah, so this is sold out. Get it as soon as Monday, June 1st. So you're not getting that soon. This is the green screen I'm using right here. And I was like, it's really nice. It's a very good green screen. I was like, I need something that I have a green screen. I'm really thankful they got it for me. If anyone ever saw this video, they bought me a green screen. It was good, but a lot of teachers are using them. They've become in high demand. So I bought this green screen right here, and it's just really high quality. It doesn't wrinkle. It'll go up when I need it. So I was just like, and they already bought me one, so I didn't want to, be like, hey, thanks for buying me something. I'm going to buy another one. So I just bought it. I just bought it with my money. And I get treated pretty well. And you mentioned green paint. Yeah, that's, you can do a lot of cool stuff with that. I mean, it's your question, Camden, about this. What were you wanting, Camden? You guys have the same color icon, so I missed that right there. But the green screen works really well. It's a very, very, very high quality green screen. And then I bought one other thing that I'm super excited about. The last thing that I bought, which might get refunded for, who knows, but that's all right. The last thing I bought, what is it called? Black Magic ATM Mini. This thing is super cool. It hasn't come in yet. I haven't gotten it. It's on back order. Where did I buy it from? I called them and was going to see if they'd ship me one for school. They have not. I'll show you in 2 seconds here. This thing's super cool. Here it is. And back order, yeah. This thing is so cool. Okay, let's take a picture and show you guys what's going on with this. Because this is what once I have this, and I have my 2 cameras set up, and I'll tell you guys these last few ideas for those who are here listening to this right now, and then I got to probably hop off this whole encode. So here's the Blackmagic ATM Mini. And what this thing is, and I'll explain, you guys can tell me what you think of this, Andrew, and other people, because Andrew, this is how your class is probably going to be taught. So this is kind of the next stage of this. When it's asking what cutoff values for the highest 5% of all IQs, do you select high or lows in the applet? Great question, Camden. You should select whatever graph's on the right side. So Camden, great question. Keep asking questions if you have them. Camden, your picture, where'd my pen go? I believe it is above. So your picture should look something like this. Wait, highest 5%. What is your mean? Are these the numbers right here, Camden? Are those the numbers? Are they 100 and 140? Highest 5%. We're doing 95, so that's it's 1.645. So your thing, it's 114. Is the standard deviation 114? Standard deviation is 14, I bet. 14. It's 14, right? So that's a tricky one. It's like 2/3 above that. So your answer is going to be very close to 2/3 of 14 is a tough one. 9. Is it like 123 or something? It should be 123 something. So your answer close to 123? Yeah. 123. Yep. That's that. Hopefully, I said it before it appeared in the chat. You'll see it in the video later. Like, he read the chat. If you look at it visually, it also looks like 123. So 123 something should be right. Because it's about the Z-score for this. This is how I know these things. The Z-score for this I know is 1.645. So you probably heard me mumbling like 2/3 or something. So when I was saying like, oh, it's 2/3 or something like that. That's so cool. Great job, Camden, right there. He confirmed it. Brian knew it. It only took 10 years. So I knew the Z-score for that. So when I was asking like what's 2/3 of 15, 2/3 of 15 is 10, and then I subtracted a little bit off of it because the standard deviation's 14, not 15. So that's why I said about 123 or something, because I was like, okay, it's not 10 above, it's like 9 above. So that's how I was figuring that out right there. I knew the z-score of it. Please note that this here is the z-score. So what did Brian do? Brian went 1 2/3 z-scores above it. Don't worry, this is just by doing the class way too much. But does that make sense, Camden, right there, that I went 1 2/3 standard deviations above it in my head? I have visualized right here what is 1 standard deviation above, and then I just had to go about 2/3 standard deviations above it. This is kind of 2/3 right here. And so I kind of said, okay, what is 2/3 of 15? Because this is about 15. So what's about 2/3 of 15? 2/3 of 15 is about 10. But since we're not going quite 2/3 and this is not quite 15, I rounded it down to 9. And that's why I did it there. That's how I was doing it. You get it? That's it. That's all you should be seeing. And the more you see it, if you start to understand the super complex things I'm doing, then the easier things, like the test won't get that complex. For anyone who's watching this very end, the test does not go to the level Brian is going to. So, and great job, Camden. Great job. And I like that you're just doing this right now. You've got your 100 because I'll give you the 100, but you're just doing it for practice. Amazing job, Camden. And then when it says lower or middle, do I just, yeah. If it says middle, you got it. You got it. Great job, Camden. Excellent work. This is my dream device right here, which I hope we get. For the middle 70%, yep, graph the middle. And the middle 70% will look like, middle 70% will look something like this. It must look, it's going to be very close to the middle what, Camden? The middle 70%, I can tell you the answers for these. The middle 70%, oh, that's so cool. Thank you, Isaac. It's just chill time. We're going to get some chill music in here. You guys can tell me what you think of that. But I talked to Jason yesterday, and we're talking about getting some chill music. So that way, at the end of class or sometime during class, we could put in some chill music and just like do like chill stream. And your values should be something like, if it was rounded, I mean, it's gonna be, I'm gonna do that. I was between two numbers. Oh, did I get it? Yeah, I think you're saying which answer will be close to. Lo-fi study beats. That's it. Andrew, I might send you some samples. Oh, I should have went with 85. I was going to go with 85. That's why I paused here. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so it's, and it rounds. It's like 85 and 114 point something. If you can tell, it's a little bit outside of it because inside of here is the middle 68. So this is the middle 68% right here because that's within positive and negative 1. And then here is the middle 70%. It's just a little bit further out than the middle 68. And the middle 68 is plus or minus 1. And then it's actually 68.26. You got it. Yep, you're seeing it. It's just a little bit further out. So when you graph it, you will get something shaded in like this right here, which is a little bit more than the green area. So it's a little further out. You're getting it. You're seeing how this works. Yeah, it's just practice. If you're getting this right now, you're getting it. You're doing great. It just takes practice. And I wish we had, I mean, this is a 3-week course. So it just takes practice. And these concepts are used later. I'm not going to like purposely like use a chapter 5 question. But Andrew, do you ever see the normal curve, z-scores, or t-scores ever again in statistics? Do you ever do like confidence intervals? Or do you ever standardize a value by turning it into a z-score? Do you ever do that again? Ever? Something tells me the answer is going to be yes. Oh, it's an emphatic yes. Yes, it's an emphatic yes. So we use these things all the time in statistics, all the time. And I'll show you guys that last device here real quick. Remember, ask questions if you got them. Let's drop this last device into, we do it right here. So this device right here that I ordered, I can't click the buttons anymore. But if you notice right here, it's got these buttons. This is for a multiple camera stream. We'll do rivets. I think we did that one yesterday, but let's do that one, Christina. We'll do that. I'm going to mention this real briefly, and then we'll do the rivets question. So what this will allow me to do is if I were to click these buttons in here, this will change the camera. So tell me what you think about this, guys. Do you think this would be needed? Like sometimes when I do a problem, what if I could change screens and Brian I could walk over to a whiteboard. So what if I had a whiteboard and you would be seeing me from like waist up, and I'd be working the problem like you're watching a video. What do you think about that? Oh no, no worries, Christina, no worries. What do you think about that? If it were to switch and I'd no longer be on a green screen, I'd be next to a whiteboard and I'd be solving the problem with like markers and stuff. So that's one of my ideas for using this for the multi-camera stream. That's awesome. I think that'd be cool too. So I could actually go to a whiteboard and actually explain stuff on a whiteboard. And then I'd have a second camera set up and I would just click the button there and it would go to the second camera. And it's just a multi-cam screen changer. And the change in view, that's exactly it too. It's good to keep people's attention. Camden, you're awesome. Thank you for helping out. You guys are such great helps to each other. We work hard, we play hard, we get everything done. So, and I agree. Thank you, Elizabeth. I think it'd be really great. I want this to be as engaging and as fun of a class, and I want to like try to make it so we do, different ways of doing each question. I think Rivets was towards the end. I think it was like 18 or something. Am I right? So close. Was it the last one? I knew it was back here. Nope. Was it 17? We already did 17. Yeah, here we go, Rivets. So this one right here, what do you notice it wants? This one right here wants us use the what rule? The empirical rule, which means we need to look at the 68, 95, 99.7 and use these numbers. Do not use the applet. Do not use the applet. Yeah, and that's what I'll do. You got it. And I'll try to frame it up really nice, and I'll be able to write really big, and you'll be able to see it, and I'll be able to solve problems and write code or things like that. So it'll be a good way to change the teaching style. So I think that'll really help. And basically when I'm in Texas, I'm going to have this whole like studio room. So the whole studio room will have like my desk, and then I'll be behind the desk working, or I'll go over. This room in right here would work so well. And I think the room in Texas will work from the one we're looking at. And I think you're right. Is it the first one? Let's take a look. We've got right here 68%, 95, 99.7. And you're close. You're close, Camden. Pause. Don't answer your quiz yet, Camden, because they tricked you. Uh-oh. What did they do? Be very careful. Although this is 60 below, it's how many standard deviations below? I know this is the big trick on this one. This catches a lot of people. Although this is 60 below, how many standard deviations is it below? It looks like 1. But wait a minute. You see it. You saw it. Great job. Great job. This one catches so many people. So it's actually 2. Like this right here is 2 standard deviations. So it shouldn't be 690 here. What should be here since it's 2 standard deviations? Like a second standard deviation below. It shouldn't be 690. Don't worry. This catches everyone. That's why I was ready for it. It shouldn't be 690. Also, he'll make 95s on this all the time because of this question. And then it'll lead to a wrong answer on a later question. And then I swear someone one time was like, that's not fair. And I was like, I'm sorry. It's just they're showing it differently. This shouldn't be 690. It should be 630 because that's 2 standard deviations below. A standard deviation would be 690, 630. Sorry, I am responsible for all these questions. So it's my fault. Brian's not fair. My Pearson's also not fair. Would it be safe to use the rivets in a situation requiring a shear strength of 690? Now, if you look at where 690 is at, 690 would be right here on the curve. And what percent would be below 690? What percent would be below 690? 68 inside, 32 outside. What percent would be below 690? The percent below 690 would be 16%. So it would not be safe. This would be a bad idea. Be below, yep. What percent are expected to fall below 870? Can someone give me the z-score of 870? What is the z-score of 870? It is 2, because 1, 2. And then the easiest way to do this one, I'll show it visually. The easiest way to understand the area, check out my headphones for a second. I'm going to break everything. The easiest way to understand these areas right here, I feel like I talk differently in those headphones when I'm on. You guys will be like, put the headphones on, Brian. Talk. Radio voice, Brian. So since it wants the area below 870, we're going to go right here. Nice job, chat. Great job, chat. Christina and Camden, you've got the 50 today. I don't know if I already gave you guys that. You sound the same? I like that. Good. That's my goal. So you're actually trying to find this area right here. And it wants that area right there that I've highlighted. Why is this 2.5? Because outside of 95 is 5%. And so it's 97.5. You got the 150 and 20. Does that count? I don't. Sorry, Camden. Expand further. I do not know. Maybe. The answer is maybe. I can answer any question on that. Maybe. Does it say below? It says below. Got it. Points. Oh, you got it? Wait. What'd you get? I think you got it. I said to give it to you. Just give it another shot. Oh, Christina, let me explain. The reason we picked this graphic right here is because we've got it drawn right here, I think. Okay. So when you look at this graphic right here, I want you to fill in the numbers that are not here. That's where I think people make the mistake. So if we were to go down one standard deviation here, this would be 690. And this would be 570. And this would be right here, 810. And this would be 930. The way they trick you is that the numbers right here are actually how many standard deviations above and below. The numbers they give you. Does that make sense, Christina? Those numbers they give you are actually what? Oh, you did? Oh, you can only get up to 100. So you can only get up to 100. And then I broke the rules, but then I think, did you get the 100, Camden? No, did someone get the 100? Did you get the, I don't know. Oh, wait. Oh, you're saying for other days? You gave me 20 for Tuesday. Then you gave me the Mega 100. And then 50 just now. So you're at 150. If they're slightly off, I don't mind. So you're at 150. Today you got 50 total. The rules for this are so open. So make sure to email me those 150 total. Just kind of like email me as soon as possible. So today I put some people to 50 if they stayed. Because I appreciate it. I appreciate when you guys stay over. Sometimes I break the rules a little bit when you guys are here after. I'm going to try not to give more than like the crazy 100 points a day. One of the choices is 650, 700. What is the mean and standard deviation for yours, Christina? What's the mean and standard deviation? If the standard deviation is 25, that's the right answer. Yeah, email thread. And so yours, Christina, should have, let me do white. Is there a choice, Christina, that looks like the following? I'm going to show you what your answer should be, Christina. Tell me, I want you to think about which answer it will be. I think the best way to do this question is to not look at their answers till you have an answer, but they do it a tricky way with that. So here's what your answer should be. It should be 700 at the center. And then the numbers they're going to show here are going to be 800. And the answer here is going to be 600. Now, this only applies to the rivet question. Now, the numbers you don't see, I'll put in green right here, are 650 and 750. And then the third standard deviation at 850. And -3 standard deviation at 550. Does that make sense, Christina, right there? So your number is displayed on the graphic for this one only, because this one shows ±2 standard deviations. You got it? Cool. Yeah. So it's trying to trick you because it doesn't show you. A lot of people think that these numbers are 1 standard deviation, but they're actually 2 because it's 95. So that's 2 standard deviations. Also, you can see that this is 0 and this is 1, this is 2. We can show that better right here if we put some numbers below it. And we say this is a z-score of 0, 1, 2, 3. And this is -1, -2, -3. And that's got it. Good stuff. Good practice. The mic's blocking it. I should move the mic. Break stuff. This mic arm. Got everything. Well, that's got it. Great questions, everyone. Great work. I'll let you guys go. I will see you tomorrow morning, everybody. But great work. Excellent work. Like, I'm really proud of everyone. Keep it up. Remember to try to do your work after class. Bye, Andrew. Bye, everybody. We'll end with some Crash because he's awesome.